Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere outside of the State of the Union address. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is Tuesday, February 24th, 2026. And this right here, the thing that you are watching, is called TNAM Daily Show. TNAM stands for the New American Media, because the old American media has failed you. Now, we are testing to see if we are streaming. I see comments, and now we're Amish Trash Panda on Rumble. John made a great graphic of me as an Amishman. Is that what you call them, Amishman? 'Tis a fine bond, but 'tis no pool, Amish. English doeth. It appears as though we're streaming on X, but I cannot confirm that we are streaming on Rumble. At least on my side, it's not. Okay, now it looks like it's live. Checking. All right, we live. But if you read it, it says we live. We also live. And it looks like we're streaming on YouTube. Are we also on X? Let's double check. We had a big glitch on X. It appears to be streaming on X. All right. A massive departure from yesterday's program where almost nothing went right, but it's okay. We find a way. We persist. We strive. We carry on. We keep calm and we carry on here at the New American Media, because we know what we're up against. Pure evil, pure stupidity, pure lies, pure misinformation, pure disinformation. We persist. Keep calm and carry on. All right, looks like things are working. So on today's show, we're going to discuss, I don't know, whatever there is to say about the State of the Union. I mean, should we dedicate an hour to guessing about what the president's going to say and do? Or should we go live tonight? Tell me in the comments, if we went live tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, would you tune in and watch? Would you like to be a part of that? That'd be interesting. I wonder. Tell me in the comments if you would join us live during the State of the Union tonight. We're thinking about going live. Anyway, we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss New York City cops attacked with snowballs because of Mamdani and Democrat terrible leadership. Leader Thune, time to go. It only takes, did I see it only takes 3 people or 5 people? It might be 5 people to oust him. Oust him. He ain't doing anything. Compare the number of bills passed by Thune. Look at all the recess appointments he hasn't done. We've wasted a year. We're burning daylight. The deep state is winning by stalling this president's agenda, and it's not okay. We've got a lot of stories to cover. So hello, everybody. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button. Just get out of comments real quick and hit the like button, the thumbs up button. Also, we need subscribers on Instagram. So if you could go to the Instagram page for the New American Media and go back and like some of the content and drop a couple comments, it lets the algorithm know that we're breathing. I mean, they really keep our almost 1,000 followers there from seeing our content. So more engagement from you, dear viewer, will maybe kind of get a kick in the keister to the algorithm. And that could help us. What else was I going to say about Instagram? Yeah, we're like 29 people away from being able to live stream. I've been encouraged to start a TikTok, so I guess I'm just going to do it. Doggone it. I didn't want to, but I'm going to start a TikTok for the New American Media, and it will be a future source to stream from. Also, reminder, this is where I might do an ad read for coffee or survival solar panels or long-term storable food or something, useful stuff that we might, or a show like mine would typically advertise. But since we're not going to do that, I will just advertise me and say that we are in the shortest month of the year. We only have, oh my God, we only have 4 days left in this month. That's insane. But we are in a blitz to try to raise as much as we can for this month because we had our $470 Restream subscription renewal come in along with, so sometimes it just happens this way. And then you get your 6-month car insurance bill and you're like, geez, it's a 28-day month and everything's okay. But on top of that, the regular operating expenses for the New American Media. So please consider the three main ways and 3 ancillary ways to support TNAM. Number 1, Patreon. We exist on Patreon, both in a free version. Everyone, please just go to Patreon. It'll take you a minute or two. Go to Patreon, sign up to be the free version. Everybody in the chat, join us on Patreon as the free subscriber. And if you're feeling randy, sign up to be like a $10 monthly sponsor. It all adds up and it all transfers into the business fund that pays the business fees. It's super appreciated. Also, Rumble and YouTube both have monthly subscription options. So please consider that. We have subscribers on both of those. We would like some more. Please consider that. Set it and forget it. And then it's like every month, it's a $5 Lego building block that we use to build the perimeter of our castle. Every month, it just rolls in like clockwork and kabam, kabam, kabam. You look back and you got the whole foundation built over time. So consider that, as well as the tip jars on Rumble and YouTube, Rumble rants and super chats. That's a way you can just go like that. I toss it in the tip jar. Fantastic. I'll put it up on the screen here. Additionally, on top of those 3 ways, we're on Venmo and Cash App. That's just my name, BRIANENGELMAN. You can drop a tip over there. And on PayPal, fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. If you want some merch, it's on Venmo. So just shoot me $30 for a set of 4 coasters, wooden Ohio-made coasters for our sports show, the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. $25 for a pin. I'll do 2 coaster sets for $50, by the way, if you want those. Just put your address in the Venmo. Venmo's the way we accept them. And $25. So it'd be $75 for the set of 3 if you wanted to support the show that way. I don't have my TNAM mug. I washed it, and so it's sitting over there in the other room. But normally, set your TNAM mug on there. $40 for mug includes $10 shipping and handling to you. Anyway, those are the things we wanted to get out of the way before we got the show started. So let's buckle up, Buttercup. We're going to talk about all the things going on in the news. Are you strong enough to handle it? Well, are you strong enough to handle the news? Lie to me, sang Sheryl Crow. But I'll stop singing, and we're going to start today's program right now.
Guide to the Truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. Hello, everybody in chat. Welcome, everyone. Droopy Dog in the house. Marion is here. Hello, everyone. Yes, here we go. John. What's up? David Bann in Canada. Welcome. Northern David. That's a good nickname. Not Notre Dame, not North Dakota. ND stands for Northern David. We'll raise it up. Cheers, everybody. Oh, I haven't done it in a while. I miss Scott Adams. I'd like for you to grab your favorite. Well, Time for a simultaneous sip. Ready? If you'd like to join me, all you need is a cup or mug or glass, a tank or chalice or stein, a canteen, jug or flask, a vessel of any kind. Fill it with your favorite liquid. I like coffee. And join me now for the unparalleled pleasure, the dopamine hit of the day, the thing that makes everything better. It's called the simultaneous sip, and it happens now. Go. That's good cold coffee. All right. If we're going to be doing 2 shows today, Lake Leon would watch. If we went live tonight, we might go live tonight. I feel like we should. I wonder if can I pause a live stream through X that we're reacting to? I think we can. I did that with Bob France. Trump gave a speech a few months ago. I think we can do that. I think we should plan on doing that. So since we're doing double shows, let's get right into it today, shall we? No opening monologue about all the things that I am thinking today. Right into the news. Nick Sorter reporting here. Can you see it on the screen? Nope. Let me go back to the other page. I'm always playing Tetris. We'll keep it here. There we go. Nick Sorter says breaking Republicans in Congress are beginning to call for Representative Tony Gonzalez to resign after messages were released of him pushing a female staffer for sexy pics and her favorite position before she allegedly K'd herself. Twice she told Gonzalez he was going too far, but he kept pushing anyway. This dude's a total creep. The people of Texas's 23rd district need to send a message and overwhelmingly vote for Brandon Herrera. This is going too far, boss. Lauren Boebert is calling for resignation. All of you in Texas, how do you feel? How do you feel about this guy? Are you aware of this? Who is this? Gonzalez? Tony Gonzalez. Yeah, it was former Ohio State Buckeye Anthony Gonzalez that was an Ohio representative, but then he turned down Trump, and he was quickly ousted from Congress, as he rightfully should have been. But yeah, curious as to your take, Texans. You guys are voting now, and I heard things have now changed. They've pretty much grabbed as many Democrat votes as possible. Now it's back to business as usual. But your state is under attack. Get everyone that you can to kind of, you got one more election to get through. Hopefully the SAVE Act comes through and we can restore our nation. But it's dangerous flashing red light time until then. All right, I don't know this guy. Daniel Boguslaw says breaking. The FBI director who served while Maria Farmer logged her initial report was Louis Freeh. He is still alive. Guess who Dersh Clinton Epstein used to investigate the women bringing allegations about Epstein Island? Louis Freeh. House oversight should subpoena the former FBI director, they say. Oh, Louis Freeh. Give his Wikipedia read. Here's a highlight. What's this? From 1996, FBI chief can't explain media leaks in Olympic bombing. Can't explain, or they were doing it intentionally. Trump ally Alan Dershowitz and ex-FBI director Louis Freeh are lobbying for an Israeli billionaire the U.S. has accused of corruption. Defense attorney Alan Dershowitz and former FBI director Louis Freeh registered to lobby the U.S. government on behalf of an Israeli businessman who's been accused of getting rich from corrupt deals in Africa, according to CNBC. Maria Farmer speaking about this.
Because I wasn't allowed to go get food. And when I called Ghislaine and asked why I couldn't eat there, she said, it's a Jewish country club. You're not Jewish. They're not going to serve you.
Oh. Well, a whole bunch of this stuff going on in this post.
This is how this woman spoke to me. Yeah. This is how these people think.
You hear a lot of this.
Whitney, they, honest to God, think their DNA is better than everybody else's.
You hear a lot of that. I don't know if that's your experience, but you hear a lot of that.
I swear to you. It was a theme all the time with
Oh, there's Abramovich. Yeah.
them, with Eileen Guggenheim, with Jeffrey Epstein, with Ghislaine.
Ghislaine. I call her Ghislaine. Ghislaine.
It was a theme. Jeffrey was a lot less horrible than Ghislaine as far as a human being. Like, just.
Oh, she's saying that Ghislaine is a worse human being than Epstein? I don't know about that, but...
being around, because she was raping just as many children.
So the
Yeah.
country club, you weren't allowed to go
yeah,
because
it
it was only for, people of a certain religion
Jewish
and
people.
ethnicity.
And that's interesting because a lot of country clubs specifically banned Jewish people. So interesting, the fascination over lineage.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's
Religious.
unfortunate. Wow.
I mean, they could cut you down, and it was so morally devastating. Like, you just felt. But I
That's Maria Farmer.
useless as a human being when you were told you're nothing because you're not Jewish, you're stupid, you're useless, a useless white girl,
Yeah. Sounds fairly racist if this is to be believed.
a poor little peasant. Just
I mean, are we just cattle so that they can sit back and be rich? That's the accusation. When we're called derogatory terms, like goyim, it almost kind of seems that way to, a lot of people say that.
the things that I was called, I was just like, I believed it, because it was like a cult. The
I mean, the whole thing is a cult. The whole Epstein Island thing is a cult.
problem. Yeah, you wouldn't believe the way Jeffrey and Ghislaine spoke about African Americans. It was like, it made
No, I think we would believe it, actually.
my skin crawl. Anybody who was not Jewish, and you're right about this, but the way they spoke about them, it was really horrifying.
What did George Carlin say? It's one big club and you ain't in it?
And it showed me a great deal about how these people truly believe that they're chosen to do something here. I don't know.
Oh, he's doing the hand thing.
Oh, it's unbelievable to me. And it was every one of them,
He's doing the meme. Why would he do the meme?
the way they spoke. And one time I heard Isabel say to her mother, Eileen,
Who is Isabel?
"Mommy, why do you call Maria a nobody?" And she said, "Honey, Isabel, Maria is not a Jew. She is a nobody."
Well,
Okay.
it is worth
So you can
pointing
see
I've never heard this interview, so I'm not familiar with these people and these accusations. But it was in the stack.
why for about
well,
20
that type of
years.
stuff
Useless as a human being when
I might actually include just because the Maxwell family has
You
ties
should
to
include
this
it.
group
You
that's,
should include it.
What's it called? Chabad Lubavitch. And group
got it.
openly talks about how
So much music in this background, though.
only Jews are human and the rest of
She's saying that they believe only Jews are human and the rest are not.
human beings are like
Yeah.
cattle, basically.
Oh, there you go. There's the cattle.
I might actually include just because
when I asked why they recorded everything all the time, I said, "Is Wexner really paranoid?" And he
Is Wexner really what?
said, "Yeah, that's one." Epstein said, "Yeah, that's one way of saying it."
I mean, that's an AI image there. We know that.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we know that. That looks... It's getting harder and harder to tell the difference.
he keeps everything. He records it all. He said, "I record everything," and I
So if they record everything, but we're told that there's no evidence of blackmail, like I got a story in the stack directly contradicting this, that there's a secret government above the government that will not let this information get released because they have compromised materials on so many people. It would just ruin their plan. And that's why Trump is not allowed to do it. And you go, well, but he's the president. And you go, yeah, but he doesn't run the country.
keep it for Wexner in the safe. Mm-hmm. So
And that's a terrifying concept to ponder.
the first house I go to has pinhole cameras. Jeffrey's showing me. He's really proud of them. Second house I go to has pinhole cameras. He says, "Wexner gave me this house for $1. Wexner gave me this for $1." Then I go to
So Wexner just basically bleeding all of his money to them. I wonder what he was up to.
the apartment. They had pinhole cameras in the Victoria's Secret dressing room.
There you go. Pinhole cameras in the Victoria's Secret dressing room. Would that surprise you?
Now, just to fast forward, when I was in Wexner's house, there were cameras there were pinhole cameras throughout that thing.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever stopped to wonder how many times you might have been surreptitiously recorded?
And Jeffrey again is like, oh, look at all the pinhole cameras. And Ghislaine says, you need to be careful. We can see everything.
We see everything everywhere.
When I would go to the restroom or take a shower or anything, Ghislaine would call me, and from the speaker, and this is in New York.
Oh, there's so much music behind this.
Sometimes in London, in different places, she would, when I asked why they recorded it, say, get out of the loo, get off the toilet.
Watching in real time, everything surveilled.
She would start screaming at me, say, get out.
All right, well, there was a rabbit hole now, wasn't it? What's that lady's name? Started at Louis Free, and we ended up down here with
But I lost 20.
Maria Farmer. What is it? And her credibility. There's a lot of accusations have been proven incorrect. What do we know about Maria Farmer? 26 years old, worked for Epstein as an art advisor, including a residency on Leslie Wexner's Ohio estate that started in 1996, as Epstein Maxwell essayed her younger sister Annie, molested by them earlier that year. A topless massage that turned abusive. Reported the abuse in 96, alleging Epstein Maxwell ran a trafficking ring, distributed CSAM, stole and sold underage sisters' pictures, modeling book of CSAM in a safe, and FBI took the complaint but took no action for years. Allegedly, an agent hung up on her. Vanity Fair Vicky Ward did a profile for an Epstein profile in 2002, but the allegations were cut from the published piece, later corroborated by Ward, citing threats and intimidation. Went public again in 2019, post-Epstein arrest, giving interviews. CBS, New York Times, MSNBC filing lawsuits. FBI for negligence over failures to act, claims the threats from Epstein and Maxwell, and ongoing harassment. House burning warnings, life threats. 96 complaint released in 2025. Epstein files redacted but confirmed by her lawyer and DOJ docs, validating she reported CSAM trafficking early. Testified at Maxwell's 2021 trial credibly, and others have reported her story is consistent over the decades. Democrats called for an FBI IG probe onto why warnings were ignored. Viewed as a key early whistleblower whose ignored report allowed Epstein's crimes to continue. Yeah, imagine going to the FBI, but the FBI's in on it with the CIA and Mossad, and like you go to the wolves asking for help. Some fringe critiques note later statements include controversial views about Jewish peds running the world, reptilian conspiracies. Are they conspiracies? I mean, we're considering the legitimacy of every conspiracy at this point, aren't we? David Icke's been pretty consistent. You look at these situations; they are lizard-like. Her allegations hold up well with evidence. Peripheral extreme comments have hurt broader trust. Tragic early voice in the Epstein saga, brave but long dismissed, now partially vindicated by file releases. All right. Well, that started with a different topic, and we ended up there. But I wanted to know more about her because I'm not super familiar with Maria Farmer. This was a story about Louis Free and the FBI, and we ended up there. All right. Remember, autists, Werner von Braun says the last card they play will be the alien card and it's all a lie. Raw's Alerts mentions that President Trump has just officially ordered the government to release classified files on aliens, UFOs, extraterrestrial life, and unidentified aerial phenomenon. Someone says, look at what's on his gravestone. So let's follow this rabbit trail. What is on Werner von Braun's tombstone? Psalms 19:1. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. The firmament. It's often discussed in flat earth conspiracy circles due to the word firmament, interpreted by some as a solid dome. But mainstream sources confirm it's just his personal scripture. What does biblical firmament describe? You hear this a lot. Genesis 1:6-8. Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. God then makes the firmament, separates the waters below it, oceans, seas, rivers, from the waters above it, and calls the firmament heaven or sky. It creates a space for dry land to appear later. The sun, moon, and stars are placed in or on this firmament. Genesis 1:14-17. Birds fly across the face of it. Extended, stretched, or beaten flat. The firmament is a solid dome-like vault or barrier over a flat earth, holding back the waters above. Source of rain, floods it like Noah's. Physical structure separating earthly waters from heavenly and cosmic waters, with the sky's blue appearance from those upper waters. The sky viewed in Mesopotamia is a solid canopy or a dome with windows and doors for rain and snow. They render it an expanse or sky to avoid implying solidity. Okay, well, I read about the firmament, and I'm giving you what Grok had to say. But Werner von Braun allegedly said the last card they play will be the alien card, and it's all a lie. So that is the question. Will the alien card be played at the State of the Union? What say you? Question of the day. Here, let's say it as an agree or disagree. If I were a betting person, my suspicion would be that President Trump is going to play the alien card at the State of the Union tonight. Agree or disagree? All right, smash that thumbs up button, hit the like, share the show with a friend. Oh, where's it at? This way. All right. Jake Shields says Jeffrey Epstein had multiple meetings with John Brennan, who was director of CIA. There's community notes. John Brennan gave me the CIA Agency Medal, the CIA's highest award, this morning. How cool is that? Kathy Rumler. So what is the community note on? Let's ask Grok. Did John Brennan have multiple meetings with Epstein? Brennan, one of the core traitors involved in the grand conspiracy. No credible evidence, according to Grok, that Director John Brennan had multiple meetings or any meetings with Epstein. Claims suggesting direct meetings, connections, flight logs involving Brennan, or visits to Epstein's island appear to stem from online rumors, conspiracy theories, and politically charged social media ex post, often amplified right around this time. Some letters and emails from Nancy Mace highlight tangential links, like Epstein's attorney, Catherine Rummler, receiving a CIA honor from Brennan during the Obama era, or vague references to CIA-related projects that Epstein mentioned in emails. These are professional government overlaps. Rummler was White House counsel, not evidence of personal meetings or Epstein collaboration. Probes into Brennan and Comey over unrelated issues, the Russia probe testimony, Steele dossier, the grand conspiracy. Some speculation is there, but no verified proof has emerged. Fact checks and coverage treat Brennan-Epstein meeting claims as unsubstantiated or debunked. But yeah, they say mainstream coverage. Of course they would debunk it. Searches for Brennan and Epstein Island yield 0 credible hits, political noise only. So that's what that community note must have been. That's Rummler. General Mike Flynn says, now you realize why nothing has happened and no one has been or will be prosecuted for subverting the United States of America. The real question is, who is not compromised by Epstein? And isn't that so cool that she got the CIA medal? So groovy. Illuminati Bot says, former CIA Director John Brennan says the CIA pays people to be spies and then blackmails them. However, he doesn't consider this to be blackmail because it's about national security.
The people that you recruit, foreign citizens, if they are hesitant to continue to spy for you, you can remind them that when they were first recruited and they signed a sheet of paper saying that they had taken some money from us, which is usually what happens, that you could remind them about that, almost as a way to scare them into continuing to work with you.
Creeps everywhere we look. Marion says, yes, President Trump is going to talk about aliens. You think he'll bring an alien out?
As a pressure.
Yes, and I said to the instructor, I said, that sounds like blackmail. And he got rather angry at me and said, it's not blackmail. This is the security of the United States we're talking about. You have to do whatever you can in order to keep people on working for the CIA. Agents, the people that you recruit.
Yeah, there's no getting out of it, they're saying. That's so super, huh? Creeps.
Hi.
Ross DeBoss.
Hi. The reason there's no protest about the Epstein stuff is because protests are generally paid for by taxpayer dollars through nonprofits that usually prop up certain ideological causes that Democrats have historically wanted pushed on the population, so people will be emotionally manipulated to vote certain ways.
Oh, well, when you lay it out like that, it sounds pretty obvious why.
Usually women. And so if you're wondering, like, this is a significantly worse moral outcry than anything I protested for in the last 15 years, why is there no protests? It's because they don't want protest about this. They don't actually want protest about true justice. They want fake justice that can get them votes and can basically sway public opinion about things that'll destroy the country from the inside out.
That's great.
They don't actually like Americans. We're too persnickety, and a slave class of people will accept like a quarter of what we get paid and won't ever complain about anything and doesn't even know what the Bill of Rights is.
And they're trying to replace the American population that's been too uppity with third world migrants that don't share our values, don't share our culture, have nothing in common with. They haven't learned the language. They don't believe in the Bill of Rights or the Constitution, and they think that their alleged doctrine that violates civil liberties is okay. And none of that is allowable and okay in America. And we've had too good for too long, and we've been gradually, consistently forced to lower our standards over and over and over again.
They want all those people to replace us so that we shut up and kind of don't have a voice in the world anymore.
that was what Obama, Biden, and the Democrats, that's exactly what they stand for.
Telling everybody to treat people better, because we get treated so well that it kind of has an ideal to aspire to for other cultures and stuff. And they don't want that to be a thing when all the elites want to take over everything. So they want us to all be permanent slave class. That's why they're importing so many people. But anyways.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party. Strap in. It's going to get really crazy here. We conspiracy people have been going down the pipeline for a while, and it's going to
a long time, a long while.
Get weird. If you want your social media or your business to explode, I would love to teach you how to do it the right way. Shoot me a DM and let's see if it's a good fit for me to show you.
All right.
Hi. The reason there's
Okay, Candace Owens is doing more stuff.
Erica Kirk has been named the new CEO of Turning Point USA.
My husband's dead. I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead.
It's weird to say excited.
Describes her husband's funeral as the event of the century. Merch, hats.
We have 50,000 plus hat orders.
Nobody knows why she's out there in a glittering pantsuit in a recreated tent that her husband tragically was murdered in.
A lot of music here. Social media needs a button where I can just remove the music. I think you get I think you get it. Candace Owens under backlash from many conservatives after releasing a trailer for her new investigative series into Erica Kirk titled The Bride of Charlie. Candace initially started her investigation of Charlie's death, and it has somehow led to Erica Kirk. So where do you stand on this? Is Candace the devil? Is Candace a disgusting person? The world is a stage. The actors often wear sequins and sell merch. Backlash from who, says Memoriam. I promise you we're all here for it. Erica makes us all uncomfy. The hate and slander toward Erica is so sad. I'm just reading the comments. I admire her so much for how she trusts in God as her defense. Go Max, Candace. Go Max. Different comments here. Not going to lie, that's a pretty clever title. Bride of Charlie. Michelle says Erica is behind Charlie Kirk's death, period. I guess it's split. Who do you think is the biggest, well, how do I say it? The bad guy, the bad girl, who do you dislike most? Is that a fair way to say that? Erica Kirk or Candace Owens? Type it in the comments. Both of them, none of them, or do you dislike? Are you creeped out by Erica? Are you creeped out by Candace, or pissed off at either of them? I'm just watching it all play out. I don't know. So many problems with the Charlie Kirk official story.
Throwing merch out.
Everyone grieves differently, so if someone's acting weird, don't read into that.
Zionists,
Oh, here we go. Everything goes back. Thanks, Obama. Everything goes back to Jews. That's Dave Smith right there.
Prime Minister of Israel, all lied through their teeth.
Bill Ackman, a few facts, corrections. Oh, okay. The TPUSA Hamptons event was not held at my house, rather a hotel in Bridgehampton. I did cover the cost of the event, travel, food, lodging. Not a secret event. No one signed NDA. Everyone, including TPUSA representatives who attended, were totally free to share whatever they want about what took place, what was discussed. This was not a Chatham House Rules event.
About Charlie Kirk.
Her operation was...
That's wild. I've met both of these guys doing their stand-up. Dave Smith and I can't think of his name. It was that guy. Jeez.
in Constanta, the epicenter of Romania's trafficking scam.
Yeah. And being at the the epicenter of Romanian trafficking. Jimmy Dore.
Weird conversations to have with a 15-year-old. I'm going to touch your butt.
$8.6 million to their own.
All right, way too much music. You get it. You can watch it.
Eric?
Music. To the point, I don't give a rat's arse about either of the two, Candace or Erica. TPUSA pushing for rhinos in the Texas elections. Really? That's not good. Are they rhinos or are they Zionists? Or are Zionists rhinos? Because that's, often, Candace and there's a lot of conflation. I don't know if rhino is always Zionist. My understanding of that term is just the people that think Israel should get to stay Israel. Little Mama Liberty says, let's not forget how they had a full investigation and raided a man's home to kill his pet squirrel. Yet here we are with the list of pedo human eaters roaming Earth, and they do absolutely nothing. Zero. Why did they go into this guy's house, capture and K this little squirrel? Yeah. Shame. Carnivore. There we go. Carnivore Aurelius says the world is fucked, but you can't fall for the doomer crap because life is still incredible. The elites are corrupt, the food is fake, everyone is infertile and depressed. But still, cows turn grass into steak, the sun shines, fruit grows on trees, you can fall in love and make babies with a stranger, and God has your back. Turn off the news, eat steak, touch grass, make babies, get sunlight. Build a beautiful world of your own around you with the people you love. Good. That's an uplifting story right there. Lake Leon says, Rhino globalist Bush boys. Yeah, when I talked to Alex at the 2016 Republican convention, what do you make about the Never Trumpers? Oh, those are just a bunch of George H.W. Bush assholes. Yeah. That family being removed from power is totally fine with me. Here's Kash Patel celebrating. Yeah. Yeah, champagne. Woo. He's not first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. All the way at the bottom, 0 Epstein arrests. I know that's not actually him, though. But you know the meme. He's super celebrating, but he's not doing his job at the FBI. Neither is Pam Bondi. No Epstein arrests. It's almost like they want it to continue, and they want to get away with it. This one's pretty great. North America having quite the day today. This was yesterday. Up in Canada, it's... Oh, sad tears. Mexico, it's burning. It's on fire. But America, hey, flying the eagle flag. We just got a gold medal in 2 gold medals in hockey. But only one of the teams is going to show up, apparently. What a disgrace. We'll get to that in a minute. USA. We told you about how Kami Mamdani was requiring multiple forms of identification in order to shovel snow, but not to vote. They're doing the meme. ID to vote? Nah. ID to shovel snow? There you go. Doesn't make any sense. Also, your reminder that there was more outrage over Sydney Sweeney's genes than there is about the entire world being run by a satanic pedophile cannibal ring. Okay. More outrage over jeans and tits. That makes sense. For some reason. All right. Let's dig into this because I've heard multiple versions of this. Leading report says breaking. Trump FDA is retreating from a plan to ban artificial colors in food, per The Guardian. Former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene says, what level of chess is this? You hear, no, Trump, trust the plan. He's playing 3-dimensional chess. He's playing 4-dimensional chess. He's playing 9-dimensional chess. And you go, is he though? So Kristan L. Cooper says this post is misleading. The FDA announced it would allow food companies to use the label no artificial colors, even if the food contains dyes, provided those dyes are naturally derived like beet juice or spirulina rather than petroleum-based. Let's ask Grok if this is accurate. Also, for the people new to the show, for those of you living in Rio Linda, California, I just want you to know that when I look up Grok, when I look up something on Grok, it does not mean that I trust it completely. And it does mean please always do your research. Also, a share does not equate an endorsement. A conversation about a topic does not mean endorsing that topic. For those of you in Rio Linda, California, I'm holding here in my formerly nicotine-stained hands all right, where's Grok? I just asked it. Where'd it go? FDA announcement. No artificial colors. Well, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, the statement is accurate. Previously, such claims were generally only allowed if the product had no added colors at all, even natural ones like beet juice or spirulina. Now, foods can use natural sources, beetroot red from beets, spirulina extract from algae, annatto, turmeric, and still claim no artificial colors. Well, I think that's fair. I don't think that's something you need to butcher Maha for. It aligns with FDA efforts to phase out petroleum-based synthetic dyes in favor of natural alternatives. The announcement came alongside approvals listing beetroot red as new exempt color additive. Okay. Does that bother anyone in chat? They're saying no artificial colors, but they are using colors, but the colors they're using are from natural sources. I don't think I have a problem with that. Eric Spracklin says, let me get this straight. GDP, well, how much of this is accurate? Can I copy and paste this? No. GDP nears rock bottom. I don't know if that's accurate. No mass deportations. Amnesty for non-criminal illegals. No Epstein arrests. Tariffs just got shut down. That they didn't. A lot of this seems to be incorrect. How many of these points are false propaganda? There are no Epstein arrests here. Tariffs. The thing about the tariffs, when we said there's trouble for Trump with the tariffs, it might not be that bad. In fact, it might not be bad at all. You know, we did the show last week when the tariff situation was happening, and the concern was that the courts shut it down. There's no more tariffs for Trump. Well, I don't think that is actually accurate. President Trump doesn't think so because he raised the tariffs on everybody as a response. What happened was that I forget it off the top of my head, PA something, the form of tariffs that it was categorized under, they were told, don't categorize your tariffs under this code. But Justice Kavanaugh said, when you do a tariff, they offered guidance and said, these are the codes that you use. So now they have a very, very firm ruling from the Supreme Court showing how to do the tariffs properly. And the Supreme Court ruling doesn't really make a lot of sense. You know, remember how they passed Obamacare, John Roberts, and well, it's a tax. No, it's a fee. No, it's a regulation. No, I mean, they were splitting hairs at the microscopic level to try to find a way to give Barack Hussein Obama the ability to seize control over 1/6 of the U.S. economy. But in this case, they said, well, President Trump, you can shut down all of the tariffs. But what you can't do is tariff a little bit. You go, what? It's so weird. It's so weird. By the way, 30 Democrats are purported to be skipping the State of the Union tonight because they're a bunch of babies. You vote every Democrat out. Bunch of babies. Crypto obliterated. I mean, crypto goes up, it goes down. Imminent war with Iran. Maybe. 2026 midterm disaster incoming. You think people are clamoring for more Democrats? I don't see that anywhere. I see people laughing at them. So anyway, this is a pretty negative post, and I'm not going to be blackpilled. Marion says natural colors only, no artificial stuff. I'm good with that. Food babe, yeah. What's her name? Harry Carey? Hari Krishna? Honey something. Vani Hari. There we go. I don't know the name Vani, so I couldn't think of it. Lake Leon says, nope, all good. Love beetroot. I had some beets the other day for the first time. Man, do those beetroots go through you, though? Whew. Yeah. Food dye, indeed. Lake Leon, I bet Trump does talk about new tariffs tonight. Yes. He's going to do a whole... And I think the Supreme Court will be there, and I think he's going to admonish them to their faces. David says, nothing makes much sense anymore. I know. We're trying. But yeah, a lot of this stuff is pretty unfair. So see, I share things that I don't agree with, people. If you're not a regular watcher of the show, if you don't know that, you need to kind of get with the program. This is from Being Libertarian, alleging this quote to Thomas Massey. They've deployed the ultimate weapon of mass distraction, but the Epstein files aren't going away, even for aliens. Simple man. Wait, it's not on the screen? There we go. Whoop. Yes, Marion. Yeah, I call out to Jamie sometimes. I pseudo ask y'all for some help sometimes, and then sometimes I just do it myself. I try to do a lot myself, but juggling apples and chainsaws. Don't forget to take a bite. Matt Van Swole says, I'm a simple man. Am I so simple that my mouse just died? I think so. Let's charge this bad boy up. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with a friend. Let's see. Can I plug it in here? Will this work? Okay, I see a light. Let there be light. Let the situation be illuminated, said Sean Flynn. Rest in peace. Okay, now it stopped working again. What's happening to my mouse? Mouse not working now? Oh, for the love of God. Does it not like that outlet? Let's try this outlet. It's showing that it's lit. Here. Let's unplug it from here. I don't know why this isn't working. Oh, now it's lit even more. But is it still not working? Why is my mouse just not working? Maybe let it charge for a minute. Oh, good grief. Jamie, grab a new mouse stat. I know. All right, let me try it one more time. All right, now I see a light at the bottom. Maybe just need a second to give it the initial boost. All right, looks like we might be back on track. But now I got to find out if the other adapter works. Let me charge this up a little bit, and I'll try the other adapter. Yeah, my headlamps on my vehicle went out, one of them. And I got some replacements and put them in, at least on the right side. I tried to do both, but on the left side, I can't get to it because of the battery. I'm like, oh, doggone it. Now and it's freezing cold, and I'm just trying to. Why would they design a vehicle where you have to remove the battery to put in a light? Aren't there engineers that are supposed to handle these things? Like, why wouldn't you make it so that is not a thing? I mean, I can barely get to and I can't turn it. I have no torque. There's got to be a trick I could use. Because then if I disconnect it, then I got to reset all my settings on my... Everything. Life is just a series of things that you got to do. Over and over and over again. All right, this is working. Now that it's charged up, I am going to unplug it. I'm going to put it back into this one and see if this will actually charge it as well. It seems to be working. All right, it's working now, so let's try it. I'll disconnect this. Whew. Can I finish this Matt Van Swol? It's always something, it is. But that is life. It's always something. All right, Matt Van Swol says, I'm a simple man. All I wanted from the GOP was to cut waste, fraud, and abuse from government spending and make sure that only Americans were voting. That's all I wanted. The bar was so low, and they couldn't even do that. What on earth are the GOP actually doing? The frustration is growing. And with that one big, beautiful bill, I mean, that's not cutting spending in any way. Hello, Luna Frost. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Thanks for being here. Happy to have you over from Kick. Luna Frost, what are you guessing you're going to hear on the State of the Union tonight? We are trying to guess some things that we're going to hear. All right, let's check in on Kami Mamdani's New York City. New York City. Check this out. They're chucking hunks of ice at these people's heads. Cops are being chased. Well, it's probably just a little bit of something. Being chased by a mob. A mob of illegal alien invaders, perhaps? A mob of people who've been whipped into a frenzy by the Democrat deep state demons? I don't know. And they're barking. What? Why wouldn't you call for backup and get these people arrested? Where's the police water cannon truck when we need it? Yeah, water cannons with blue line. Sophia, I really want to see what will happen when they start calling. Here, let me turn the volume down. When they start calling the help of the police and no one shows up, these people are out of their minds. I'm so disappointed and disgusted. But January 6th. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine wanting to go to New York right now. Gotham City. There you go.
What do you think of?
Now, here's an interesting chat. Tucker Carlson's elites theory isn't crazy. Former CIA officer John Kirikou weighs in on Tucker's supra-government theory and how power may actually operate behind the scenes.
What do you?
This is sort of exactly what I was starting to get at, is it not? Why are they not arrested? Because they let the mobs get away with everything all the time, always now. What a great way to run a country, is it not? Let them get away with everything all the time, always. Okay. By the way, Jack Posobiec reporting that Erica Kirk will be at the State of the Union tonight. Okay, then. Here you go. Here's John Kirikou.
What do you think of what Tucker said about this revealing perhaps some sort of super government like SUPRA, where he said the people that you thought were the highest actually just work for the people who work for the people that are the highest?
Isn't that the truth? I think he's onto something. You know, Tucker's another guy who has been very deliberate about all this. He was never one to jump on rumor. He was always one of the guys who demanded to see evidence before he took a position. And I think even he is shocked by what has been released. And, you know, there are a million other little strings that haven't been pulled yet. Don't forget, there are still reportedly between 3 and 3.3 million documents that have not yet been released.
Yes.
That Pam Bondi has said won't be released. She's going to defy a bill passed 419 to 1 in the House and 99 to nothing in the Senate and signed by the president. And she's just going to say, no, I'm not going to do what the bill commands me to do and release these documents.
Do you think she's saying that, or that's coming from above her?
It has to be coming from above her. It has to be. One of these little strings that I've been trying to focus on involves Catherine Remler, who was the Obama administration's White House counsel.
11,500 emails.
First of all, what the fuck, right? Like, does she do nothing all day long as the White House counsel other than chit chat with Jeffrey Epstein? Number one. Number two, there's one email that she sent him saying, John Brennan, the CIA director, gave me the CIA's highest honor today. Pretty cool, huh? Or pretty great, huh? And then she tries repeatedly to set up a lunch between Jeffrey Epstein and John Brennan. Why? To what end? And there's a bigger question here too, and that is, what kind of judgment did these people exercise? This woman is supposed to be the president's personal legal advisor, his personal attorney. And this is what she's doing.
What do you think of what Tucker said about this revealing perhaps some sort of super government?
Yeah. Pam Bondi not allowing her to release the remaining files. A government above Pam Bondi won't allow her to release. John says we're realizing in real life that we're in the Hunger Games, and if you become successful enough, you're above the law. Kleinster says it makes sense when you realize Epstein was David Rockefeller's proxy. I don't know if any of this stuff is true. I just like reading the comments because, reading the comments will give you some interesting takes. What we do here, I don't often present stories as fact. I mean, I do if I feel like I can confirm them as fact, or to the best of my knowledge, but best of my recollection, best of my knowledge, I can identify them as factual. But what we do here is we sift through social media together. We read the comments. We discuss. Kleinster says it makes sense when you realize Epstein was David Rockefeller's proxy as chairman of the Trilateral Commission and openly admitted to being an agent of the Rothschild family. It seems obvious at this point he at least coordinated Iran-Contra, 9/11, 08 financial crisis, COVID. See, once again, I guess this is just somebody in the comments, but thanks, Obama. Thanks, the Jews. Thanks, Epstein. This person in their comments, they're attributing every bad major event that happened in the past 40 years to Epstein. You're like, the guy's also a dope and a puppet. He's not the top of this. There's no way this guy's the top of this. He's not some evil mastermind. I mean, he's evil. He was a player. Do not be confused that this was a two-person operation. I don't buy that for a second. That feels incredibly unlikely. Coordinated Iran-Contra, 9/11, 08 financial crisis, COVID, Ukraine war, possibly many other crimes that we haven't realized yet. So, anyway.
What do you think of what
government? All right, we see what's going on down in Mexico. It's all sorts of chaos at this moment. And we played this a couple months ago. I forget when this was posted, but it's been shared again by Chief Nerd. There's a Special Forces veteran, Evan Hafer. Yeah, we talked about this before, but it's good to mention it now. And I guess there might be an update on who's running that cartel. El Chapo's rival cartel. It appears maybe be a family member, maybe the son. We'll get to it in a minute, but we played this before, but now I think the story is that the United States shared intelligence with the Mexican authorities. I think that's the latest version of the story. And there's chaos in Puerto Vallarta and other places. By the way, there are Americans who are trapped. This is not okay. Will that be the impetus to send Americans in to go get these Americans out? And while you're there, take out some more trash? I don't know. But when you have things this unstable right on our border and it's infiltrating into our country, you either deal with it or it deals with you. So here's this conversation with Joe Rogan with Special Forces veteran Evan Hafer.
I was thinking about this from a thought exercise where I'm like, because I know these units. I'm intimately familiar with them. Bro, if we declare war on the cartel, like these dudes are not going to understand what the fuck is going on.
No,
like,
of course not.
They are going to be, because God,
you'll
God
stop the
bless those
distribution.
guys.
That's going to be, yeah.
They are in for a world of like ultra violence they've never actually felt before, because obviously this is a very capable ultra violent organization. They have fucking no clue. If we organize these tier 1 units against them, this is going to be what I would be doing if I was down there. I'd be like, I know all those shoe boxes in my fucking, my walls that I'm going to have to collect up. I'd be getting ready to retire right now. That's what I would be doing. Because if Delta Force is hunting me, bro, I would be so terrified.
Is that a real thing that they've proposed doing?
Yes. That is a real thing.
Who proposed that?
I'm almost positive either JD or Trump had said something with the new guy from ICE, like we're going to mobilize tier 1 units against the cartel. The only thing I thought was like, retire. If you guys got some money, man, I would like put that away. Yeah. You know, like maybe move Jamaica. I don't know, go somewhere. Yeah, buy a restaurant. Like try to go legit because
go legit,
dude. If those guys are hunting you, by the way, like you're done. You're fucking done.
And it's a weird thing that's going on right at our border.
So
it's a
strange.
Weird thing. Because it's so close to us and it's so ultra violent and dangerous, and it's just completely shaped the way the entire economy of the country works. You know, they have so much power and control, and it's a criminal organization that is almost entirely at least funded by us, by our desired. Trump declares war on cartels. President-elect said notorious crime syndicates and drug kingpins will never sleep soundly again once he launches his plans to tackle the issue.
I've thought about this for a long time where I'm like, if they turned loose Delta Force and SEAL Team 6 on cartels and pedophiles, we could just kind of like erase the problem in about 2 years. It'd be gone.
He wants to send troops to Mexico. He said we make appropriate use of special forces, cyber warfare, and other overt and covert actions to inflict maximum damage on cartel leadership, infrastructure, and operations. Oh, Jesus. Bro, it is going to get wild come January 20th.
All right. So I shared this a while ago. Obviously, this was after the November 3rd election? And Inauguration Day on January 20th. So somewhere in that window, about 15 months ago, we shared that. David, you're right. I would not only retire, but run as fast as I can. And if you got Americans trapped behind enemy lines now, oh, hell no. And you look at what happened, the economic impact of those riots in Minneapolis, protecting the bad guys, the illegal alien invaders. The economic impact, it was disastrous for the city. Look at New York. You think people are flocking to New York to go vacation and spend money there and sightsee? No. People are fleeing your hellhole cities. They don't want to participate in stuff like that. We are just through the looking glass right now. But it's important to remember this conversation 15 months later. I'll put that phrase in here. Buckle up, buttercup, button. I don't even know what it means, but it's fun to say.
I was thinking about this.
No, 100%.
All right, let's check in. What did we say? I think we have 30. Democrats are not going to go to the State of the Union. They're taking their ball and going home. They're not serious people. They are not serious people. They're going to have a goofy leftist rally at the National Mall instead. Here you go. Take a listen.
100%. And that's exactly what President Trump can do, because this is the message that Republicans are going to take out to the midterms. The notes in which he echoes tonight will be exactly what you hear Republicans say on the stump. And you keep in mind, this is a president that's going to be out there. It's almost as if he was running for election. They're going to have him on the campaign trail. I'm expecting the president to deliver in a way in which the American people expect him to, presidentially and
Man, does he sound like Don Lemon, though? Does he not? Who is this guy?
Tell them what's in it for them. What has he done over the course of a year? And I can tell you, he's accomplished a great deal cleaning up the mess of Joe Biden's presidency, but that's 100%.
All right.
No, 100%.
Maybe we'll check in on the loony bin, see how they're doing tonight. Here's every single video in my algorithm right now. Firework. Fighter jets. Cowboys. Mount Rushmore. Eagles. Cars, explosions. Heck yeah. Poor Michigan beer. All right, I'll follow. I don't like Michigan, but what I do like, I like meme culture. April Silverman, Cali Maga Barbie, says, did you guys not know that Gavin Newsom was straight out of Compton? So this over here on the left, that's that picture where what did he say? He said something like, I didn't have money. He said something like, I didn't come from means and I can't read. And like he was voted most fashionable in college or something, or high school or college. And there's that picture of him reading a book or reading the newspaper and with a scarf around his neck. So they put him in the back seat with Ice Cube and was that Boys in the Hood? Here's Gavin Newsom, everybody. Here's Gavin Newsom with watermelon and some KFC. I'm just like you, he said. Where was that? In Atlanta to some black caucus or something? Trying to connect with the people. Really just showing how wildly out of touch he is. Here's a picture of Gavin Newsom here. Oh, this is Mac and Cheese Boy. I mean, it reminds me of look, I feel like Joe Biden. I was going somewhere and I forgot where I was going with it. I'll remember in a second. Gavin Newsom dunking the basketball, wearing gold chains, eating KFC. Here's Gavin Newsom with Wonder Bread and mac and cheese. Yeah, he's Mac and Cheese Boy. And then here's Gavin Newsom. I'm just like you. Oh, it reminded me of Hillary Clinton with her hot sauce in her stupid fake black accents, just trying to pander. It's so transparent. The Democrats are just the worst. Gavin Newsom in an afro. I am just like you. I can't read. You're like, what? What a crazy thing to say out loud. Gavin Newscum. What a lunatic. Maybe he'd be, I was wrong. I was wrong about Mamdani. I said, I was concerned about such an important American city being led by a Muslim communist nincompoop. But, I think just like how we had 4 years to watch Biden do Biden things, you said, oh, dear God, I cannot believe people are like this. I cannot believe the sheer level of malevolence and theft and graft and incompetence and treason. Just, okay, well, if you're going to be dumb enough to put this together, then go ahead, choke on it. Go ahead, enjoy it. So maybe the best thing the Democrats could do would be to run Gavin Newsom in 2028. I mean, he won't go away. He's definitely spending more time abroad, kind of like Karen Bass. Where was she? She was somewhere when the fires happened. She was in Nigeria or Uganda or where was Karen Bass? Completely inept. Compromised, too. Karen Bass was where during the fires? She was in Africa, right? She's on a sightseeing mission. Ghana, West Africa, when the Pacific Palisades fire and the related Eaton fire broke out January 7, 2025. Part of a U.S. presidential delegation appointed by Biden to attend the inauguration of Ghana's new president on January 7. She left L.A. amid rising fire weather warnings. There was a fire weather watch on Jan 3 and the red flag warnings went out later. She was in Ghana at a cocktail party. came back on a military transport plane 24 hours after the fires began. She said the trip was a mistake, and she felt terrible, absolutely terrible, about not being physically present, though she claimed to be in constant contact with staff via phone during the flight and the return. Okay. Major backlash. Destroyed that whole area. Karen Bass, Gavin Newsom. Goodness. Are they attracting people to Los Angeles or repelling them away? I'm just like you. I can't read. I got shitty scores on my SAT, just like you fellow blacks. You're like, Joe Biden. You don't know whether to vote for me or vote for Trump, then you ain't black. Yeah. You gotta vote for me or you ain't black. Unreal. But it's interesting to see the Democrats as they truly are. Hey, here's a great post. Watch this. David Harris Jr. What is this? Camelback moving employees spot a missing girl, Kalani Rogers, at a quick trip in Phoenix. Police recover a missing 2-year-old girl in Avondale, Arizona, after workers from a local moving company spotted her. Company's owner says they recently began training staff to spot and report human trafficking. Check this out.
That's her. Yeah. Is it really? Yep, that's her. It looks like her.
Security guard took a picture of her, and he's like looking at her. And in the thing it said the lady's wearing like pink pants.
The Amber Alert, the one I yesterday?
Never? Yesterday? That one.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Did I block your truck?
Huh?
Did I block them?
Should block. Let me write it down.
The Texas plate.
Texas plate, what is it?
Is she a young girl? You can't look it up of what she looks like?
Yes, I can. It's right here.
Got it? Show me a picture, because I know what that girl looks like. She ran right past me.
Okay, hold on.
Oh my God, that's her. Yeah. Is it really? Yep, that's her. It looks like her. That's exactly what she looks like.
Look at all these cops that descend on this area. Occasionally, cops will do their job. Hands.
Oh my God, that's her.
Bravo. I can't add a GIF or a GIF. Drop a respect button there. Good job. Thought he would have blocked him in there with his vehicle, but I guess he didn't feel like he needed to. And yeah, a lot of these, they're
oh my God, that's her.
It's not like they're just straight up kidnapped. It's some sort of parental dispute that, that kid's half yours and things get wonky, but regardless, that worked out well. Okay, Dom Luker, breaker of narrative, says an anonymous CJNG source allegedly claims that an American citizen named Juan Carlos Valencia Gonzalez, alias 03, has been named the new leader of CJNG. He is El Mencho's stepson and controls the cartel's armed wing Grupo Elite with a $5 million U.S. bounty on his head. He was born in Santa Ana, California, and is an American citizen by birth. Mexico's deadliest cartel is now reportedly being operated by an American from Orange County, California.
Somos Grupo Delta del Jefe 3, y nosotros nos deslindamos de la manta que pusieron los corrientes de los reyes en el poblado de Cotija, donde mencionan al general.
Anyway, we could listen to him in Spanish, but that's the claim. 50 Shades of Consciousness says they don't announce stuff like this. This is a red herring and a half. All right. Well, I'm keeping my eyes peeled on it. We're still kind of sifting through what's happening down here. Reminder, this might be the best video in the history of videos. I loathe Roundup, Monsanto, or Bayer, and glyphosate. Can't stand it. Hate it. Want it pulled from every shelf. So, what is the context of this interview? I can't really read it. But they say, Carrie Kelly put this out and says, environmentalists claim, well, here, just watch this. Here you go.
Glyphosate in Argentina is causing increases in cancer. You can drink a whole quart of it and it won't hurt you.
You want to drink some? We have some here.
I'd be happy to, actually, but not really, but
not really.
I know it wouldn't hurt me.
If you say so, I have some glyphosate.
No, I'm not stupid.
Okay.
Yes, you are stupid. He said something absolutely ridiculous and then instantly backed out of it. And then when pressed, I can get some for you to drink. And he says, I'm not stupid. But you expect us to be stupid. See, we're not stupid either, pal.
So you
No, but I know
so it's dangerous,
I
right?
know people try to commit suicide with it and fail fairly regularly.
Tell the truth.
It's not dangerous to humans. No, it's not.
So you're ready to drink one glass of glyphosate?
No, I'm not an idiot. Interview me about golden rice.
Now he's not an idiot. He's not stupid and he's not an idiot. (2015) French TV interview, Canal Plus documentary. Patrick Moore, the co-founder of Greenpeace, but later a pro-GMO environmentalist critic, often labeled GMO advocate or a Monsanto defender, despite denying being a lobbyist, claimed glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup weed killer, is completely safe for humans. And the interview ends abruptly 22 seconds later in the clip. The moment went mega viral as a gotcha exposing hypocrisy. It's so safe, why won't you drink it? It's become a meme. Buttons. Mocking pro-pesticide claims. Drink the glyphosate then. Pro-GMO farming voices counter that the concentrated form is irrelevant. Glyphosate residues in food are tiny, far below harmful levels. You'd need massive amounts to match toxicity. And Moore wasn't claiming the undiluted product is a beverage, just that it's low toxicity compared to claims. The clip circulates endlessly. Drink it then. Tied to broader glyphosate debates about if it causes cancer. Links through IARC, probable carcinogen classification. There's traces in beer, wine, and cereals, and lawsuits against Bayer and Monsanto. What a great moment.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, then it's finished. Then the interview is finished.
That's a good way to solve things.
Yeah. You're a complete jerk. That glyphosate in Argentina is causing increases in cancer.
He calls him a complete jerk. Buddy, you put out the press statement with this one.
You can drink.
Nobody told you to say this.
Drink a whole quart of it and it won't hurt you.
You want to drink some? We have some here.
I'd be happy to, actually, but not really, but
not really.
I know it wouldn't hurt me.
If you say so, I have some glyphosate.
No, I'm not stupid.
Okay, so you.
No, but I know
so it's dangerous.
I know people try to commit suicide with it and fail fairly
let's
regularly.
Tell the truth.
It's not dangerous to humans. No, it's not.
So you're ready to drink one glass of glyphosate?
No, I'm not an idiot.
Maybe the best internet clip ever.
Interview me about golden rice. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, then it's finished. Then the interview is finished.
That's a good way to solve things.
Yeah.
It doesn't get much better than that, and it doesn't get much worse than glyphosate.
That glyphosate is specific.
All right, trigger warning for disturbing content. This is Alex talking about just, atrocious things that the elite are doing. Hooray.
Specifically talking about
the elite, the demons.
Hunting blacks. It's very peculiar because there's no sender on it. There's not even a redaction. They've taken the whole sender name off, and it's very mysterious, if you will. But it says the snipe hunt is over. Moon crickets in field bag. And moon crickets is an old racial slur for blacks, for slaves that would work overnight. And then he says, guess what? And then he drops the hard R right here. That's Epstein here.
And people say, oh, well, what's the big deal? We have even the BBC admitting these big globalist groups and organizations in Bosnian war zones doing these hunting things. This comes up over and over again, but give us the latest.
So yes, this has been going on for a long time. That it's always been talked about that these hunts happen, very similar to like a private ranch where you'd have turkeys running around and they're all enclosed in a place where they can't escape. So they would take humans that maybe didn't want to be raped anymore and we're starting to fight, and then they'd say, all right, we're going to send you out in the field and we'll have our last little fun with you. Called it the most dangerous game. And then we have another email here from the Rothschild, Arian de Rothschild. It says, thrilling hunt. Amazing old male. Amazing hunt. Bankers should be careful. So
they're probably killing some globalists that made them mad. They'll also, and again, this is in so many cultures, so much documents. This always comes out, and it's over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, I have witnesses saying they were part of hunts. They'll usually kill one member of the hunt that's being hunted. It's over a ranch. This just came out with Bohemian Grove. This just comes out over and over again.
Sometimes they would be on grounds at these different beautiful mansions where there were woods, and they were hunting parties. So we would be dressed up in certain costumes or naked or something and sent to hide and then be hunted. There would always be a child or maybe more than one unalived at the end of this. And actually,
this lady's name Max Lowen.
These people I have seen cooked babies brought out on platters. They do eat human flesh. They do drink human blood. And sometimes the rituals would also be outdoors. So there would be like a gang violation.
Is specifically talking.
It is all coming up. Marion says, ugh, I kept losing the audio. Backed after resetting. What was the topic that we were discussing when that happened? Very interesting. That does happen to you from time to time. Yeah. Surviving the Game with Ice-T, free on YouTube Movies. Give it a watch. Hard Target from the 90s on this topic. Movie. Lady at the end, Max Lowen, allegedly, according to Christine, says of an Italian line recounting experiences under the Vatican. Whew. Oh, Get Out was a real thing? Is that what that movie was about?
Is specifically talking about hunting.
A lead research.
Well, that settles the soul, doesn't it? Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with some friends. Reminder, we have Rumble rants and super chats if you want to toss something in the tip jar to fund the new American media. We do appreciate all of the people that do. Super appreciated. We also appreciate Catherine Harridge. David Harris Jr. says, this interview from her should be everywhere. Holy crap. We talk about wanting to homeschool the kids. Well, there might be another reason for that.
Researcher and educator in this field is Cheryl Shakeshaft. There's some data about the prevalence of sexual abuse of children in public schools. What is the latest data?
The latest data is 17%. Ms. Shakeshaft was the author of 2 studies commissioned by the Department of Justice. In December of 24, Harvard University published her most recent book, and she believes now that the number of children that suffer sexual misconduct by teachers, school administrators, and other personnel is about 17%.
Wait, 17%?
Yeah,
Unreal.
in other words, 17% of students in this country who go to public schools will suffer some sort of sexual misconduct while in school by school personnel, which is a staggering statistic if you do the math.
A lead researcher and educator in this field is Cheryl Shakeshaft. There's some data about the prevalence of...
Yeah, and teachers' unions covered this up, says Michael. Oh, God, and it's even worse among special needs students. Ugh. Don't let the government raise your babies. Too much at risk. Man. All right.
A lead researcher and educator in this field is Cheryl Shakeshaft.
Here's an update. Nick Reiner has pled not guilty to emming his parents. I keep reading this. Israel has completely rejected the idea of contributing a single cent to President Trump's Board of Peace. Let me ask Grok, is this true? Okay. Board of Peace. Yes, Israel has denied spending any money, not a penny on the Board of Peace. Initial objections to members like Turkey and Qatar. Knesset member and Security Cabinet Minister. We did not give money to the Board of Peace. We were attacked, and there is no reason for us to finance reconstruction work in Gaza. Okay, so that appears to be true. Doesn't everybody else have to pay? I think everybody else has to pay. Let me type, does everyone else have to pay? No, not everyone else has to pay. Voluntary or tiered. Permanent membership requires $1 billion cash contribution or more within the first year to secure it indefinitely. Otherwise, terms are limited and renewable at discretion of President Trump. Many members participate without financial pledges, like Turkey, Egypt, Jordan, in executive roles. Pledges for Gaza reconstruction come from a subset of members, which is voluntary. $7 billion from 9 countries: Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, United Arab Emirates, Morocco, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Uzbekistan, and Kuwait. And the U.S. pledged $10 billion separately. Oh, boy. Why are we paying $10 billion there? Other countries, including many Western allies like UK, France, Germany, Canada, refused to join entirely due to concerns over the board's structure, UN sidelining, or Russia-China involvement. No payment issue since they opted out. So there's no universal pay-to-play. It's voluntary pledges and tiered permanent seats. Israel gets a special pass, while Gulf and Arab states and others fund most of the announced reconstruction money, fueling criticism of favoritism or pay for influence. All right. There's a little bit of background on that.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
All right. Tucker and the Trump-Tesla triangle. Ooh, that's a good title. Tucker's Tesla Trump triangle.
Sure, it was John Trump who received Tesla's effects.
Yes, that's documented.
The Y files guy.
What's
actually?
Yes, but what's
for a country of hundreds of millions of people, we have these weird coincidences a lot.
Isn't it strange? And the same families show up over and over. It's probably not the episode to get into the Bush family, but boy, I'd love to one day. Won't do an episode on them. I don't talk about the Bushes or the Clintons on my show, or Mossad.
I think you're a wise man.
So the boxes
that
are
is wild. Yeah, I've talked to Trump about his uncle like 20 times. He's very proud of his uncle.
The last point on that.
Yeah.
20 boxes are missing, and we don't know where they are. So that's the last point on that. We don't know where the boxes are.
But you're sure it was the same John Trump that the president talks about as a long tenured MIT professor? I mean, he talks about him all the time.
Brags about him.
All the time.
Yes. And he was connected to military intelligence.
Huh?
Yeah, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, the home of Project Blue Book UFO research.
Are you sure it was John Trump who received Tesla's effects?
Yes. That's documented.
Bradham Fitness, not following this account, but says, when Nikola Tesla died alone in 1943, his life's work didn't just get archived, it was seized. Tesla was found dead in his New York hotel room, and almost immediately the U.S. government stepped in. Office of Alien Property Custodian confiscated his trunks, papers, and equipment. Not because Tesla was a criminal, but because officials were worried his notes might contain information related to weapons or national security, especially his ideas. I scrolled it. Where'd it go? Especially his ideas about wireless energy and the so-called death ray. An MIT physicist, John G. Trump, was asked to review the materials. His conclusion was that there was nothing of immediate military value, mostly theoretical work in personal papers. Some of Tesla's belongings were eventually returned to his family and now sit in the Nikola Tesla Museum in Belgrade. But not everything was clearly accounted for, and that gap is what keeps the mystery alive. Whether his most radical ideas were impractical, incomplete, or simply lost to bureaucracy, one thing is certain. One of the greatest minds in history didn't get a quiet ending. His work was treated like a potential threat, not just a legacy. Oh. And that tells you how seriously his ideas were taken even after he was gone.
Are you sure it was?
Remember Barron Trump and the time traveler? This is all starting to get really weird. You dig in. You know, what do you think about this? We're talking about those pinhole cameras, right? Let me bring this back to Ellen DeGenerate. You know Ellen DeGenerate, right? In those pinhole cameras, what's she talking about here? This is Selena Gomez talking with Ellen DeGenerate.
Yes, what? So I thought that you were gonna scare me when I came in. I don't know why. So in my dressing room, you have the bathroom with the cameras.
You have the bathroom cameras. Why do you have cameras in the bathroom?
Put towels all over the camera, and I went and peed in Kobe Bryant's dressing room because I was scared.
Scared, eh?
Well, you're right. I was trying to scare you. You got here an hour early, and I was trying to scare you, and it was too. So it doesn't matter if you put the stuff over the cameras. I had to be in there, and you got here before I could get. I was going to hide.
See?
What a weird interaction.
You were right.
Yes.
You ruined it.
I'm sorry.
You ruined it.
I'm sorry.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Okay.
I'll get you, my pretty. I'll get you.
Oh, that's... Maybe so.
The last time I saw you was at the Teen Choice.
Publicly said, you're weird AF in a classy or a cutesy way. Anne says her face changed. So scary. Her bathroom had cameras, but not Kobe? Someone wondering if Ellen is in the files? Yeah, I don't know why anybody would be surprised if it came to Ellen. No laugh, no smile when she talks about the cameras. Ellen was pissed, tapping her hand on the chair as Selena says it. Weird.
Can I tell you something? Yes, what?
So I thought that you...
All right. Let's buzz over to our X feed. Let's start at the top here. Follow the New American Media at American_media on X. And our Patreon link is right here at the top. Here's a segment about the trapped Americans in Mexico. This is not good.
Secretary Rubio and the State Department are absolutely on it. We hear from Americans directly who are in Mexico because the State Department immediately set up 24/7 phone lines, and they're taking hundreds of calls a day, providing Americans on the ground with travel support and advice. The State Department also has issued new travel advisories, and they'll continue to update those as the situation progresses. So we encourage all Americans in Mexico to, of course, adhere to the guidance provided by the State Department. Right now, we are unaware of any reports of any Americans being hurt, kidnapped, or killed, and the Mexican drug cartels know not to lay a finger on a single American, or they will pay severe consequences under this president. And they already are. This operation, which was carried out successfully by the Mexican authorities, was, of course, supported by the United States, would not have happened without the leadership of President Trump. He has made it a day one priority to target and go after these vicious drug cartels that have shipped deadly poison to our country for far too long. He signed an executive order to rightfully designate them as foreign terrorist organizations. We've seen the president take unilateral lethal action against drug boats sailing through the Caribbean. And now, of course, we are coordinating and cooperating and pushing the Mexican government to do more to end the scourge of deadly drugs coming through our United States southern border, which, of course, is now secure thanks to President Trump as well.
All right. All eyes on America. On Mexico, sorry. Americans are stranded in Mexico as the cartels are running rampant, terrorizing civilians. There's a Kraft video saying that there's no cheese in mac and cheese. Grok says it exaggerates it for shock value. The cheese sauce mix starts with real cheese, milk, fat, cheese cultures, enzymes from actual cheese production, but then it becomes highly processed into powder with whey, palm oil, corn syrup, solids, starches, emulsifiers like sodium triphosphate, FDA grass, food grade, also in cleaners, but safe in these tiny amounts. It's not zero cheese. There's 35 ingredients, not 47. It's convenient, ultra-processed food, not homemade cheddar sauce. Eat in moderation or make your own. I just wanted to double-check that because it's going around. Steve Ferguson says, hey, the story about Somali fraud in Minnesota sure vanished quickly, didn't it? Yes, it did. Daily Mail says DC Water has been hit by the largest sewage spill in U.S. history after the boss prioritized equity and boasted of getting rid of white male executives. We shared that for you when it happened. Bragging about removing competent white male executives to bring in non-white males, apparently who are incompetent. This guy from Iceland has got a problem. Take a listen. This is nightmare fuel.
My name is Alexander, a father living in Iceland, Reykjavik. And last December, by the decision of the court, my son was taken away from me. The reason? Because I did not want to allow my son to undergo a gender transition and identify as a girl.
Take away a father's kid because he's going to stop a kid from going through a process to unnecessarily mangle his developing body with his developing brain to try to become a girl or something. The kid does not belong to the state. It belongs to the parents. Full stop.
At the only age of 10.
10 years old. Can you get a face tattoo at 10? Then you shouldn't be able to mangle your body at 10.
As a father, I do not want to see happen to my child who was already diagnosed on the autism spectrum. I believe that my child should not be exposed to life-altering procedures such as puberty blockers or hormone therapy. These things will alter drastically his body, but also his mind. I have not been able to see my son in months, and my family is absolutely devastated, as you can imagine. Because of this, I'm not able to be the parent that I know I am. Today, I'm fighting to appeal this court decision and win back my child. No parent should go through this. Children deserve to live free from radical gender ideology which pressure them to make life decisions they don't even understand yet. Thank you for listening to my story, and bless you.
That is insane. Iceland. Unacceptable. Shame on them. Patriot Dad EV 2.0 says, wait, you mean the same Susan Rice who's in the Epstein files and appears to have been on a 2-hour conference call with Epstein, right about the same time you all were executing your seditious conspiracy? Jeffrey Epstein to Steve Bannon. Justifiably, Obama admin justifiably concerned. Lawyer for Susan Rice, Obama administration justifiably concerned about sharing intel with the Trump team. 2 hours on conference with her yesterday. The Flynn focus was clever. So is Epstein a traitor? We know that. Is Bannon a traitor? Do you think Bill Clinton would like to join you and you, me, Ehud, Barack, and Steve? Could be very funny, all off the record. From Epstein to Kathy Rumler. Mark Elias says, Susan Rice saw this moment coming. She described it plainly, and she was right. Now Netflix must decide which side of history it wants to be on. The right choice is obvious. The only question is whether Netflix has the courage to make it. Yeah, a lot of people are ready to stop spending money on Netflix. Are you? Susan Rice was threatening all Trump supporters. And I'm so sick of being threatened by this awful regime. Zero Hedge reports this. The man who shockingly awarded the newly elected Barack Obama the Nobel Peace Prize in 2009 and who was chair of the Nobel Committee from 2009 to 15 was an Epstein Island regular, according to Zero Hedge. Thorbjørn Jagland, Norwegian politician who served as the chairman of the Norwegian Nobel Committee. Jogland, went to stay on the island. Well. Yeah, Barack Obama got a Nobel Peace Prize doing nothing to earn it. It stunned the world and Obama alike. Less than 9 months in office, and the U.S. was waging simultaneous wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. After 6 years at the helm of the committee, he was to be replaced with Deputy Chair Casey Coleman V, the organization said. Former Norwegian Prime Minister. Okay, so he was the former Norwegian Prime Minister, too. Thorsten Jagland admitted to a hospital following an alleged suicide attempt after a corruption probe was charged him with corruption linked to Epstein. Tried to take his own life? Oh, that's an interesting sign. Back to that previous story. Marion says, is the mother promoting this or who? I know. We got to get some more background on that story. I don't know the details. But anyone promoting it is sick, and they need to be in a mental institution. You're born how you're born. Stop messing with kids. Hands off the kids. Stop messing with them. If they turn 18 and want to do something, then they're an adult. They get to make their choice. Yeah, take away the mother's rights if she's pushing that. David says, I do not trust Steve Bannon. Yeah, I contributed to his War Room show at the Trump speech in the Bronx a year and a half ago. Haven't met him. But this former Norwegian PM and Nobel Committee chair apparently tried to take his own life, so stay tuned. Arthur McWater, well, hang on. Rupert Lowe, MP, shares a report from the rape gang inquiry. Abused multiple times a day over many years, filmed and used as blackmail. Multiple police officers were active perpetrators, money exchanged openly. Police vehicles used to traffic her, and some of the abuse events were called cop nights. Extreme pain, filmed torture, red rooms. My God. This is insane. This is in England, right? Let me back up. Our inquiry panel heard extensive and deeply distressing testimony. Can I click on this and get it bigger? Testimony from survivor detailing prolonged and extreme abuse, exploitation, trafficking, beginning in childhood, continuing over a number of years across multiple locations in the UK. The panel wishes to place on record that we regard this testimony with utmost seriousness. The survivor has provided detailed, consistent, specific evidence over an extended period of engagement with our inquiry. She will remain anonymous and is safe. Makes it abundantly clear that she wants the country to know her story. This is her decision alone. Elements of her account have been independently corroborated through presented documentation and vast evidence. Panel also aware of additional material and supporting information that strengthens the credibility of the survivor's account. Unlike all of these claims, I had somebody send me something. Can you believe Trump? Look at Trump. I can't believe you're supporting a pedo. You know, this stuff was all looked into. This is not relevant. It's not. There's no fact here. You're including all of these random tip lines. There's no evidence in there. Yeah, you're supporting him. Can you see that he talked about enjoying rape? Huh? I'm like, bro, are you simple or something? Because E. Jean Carroll was the one saying that on the interview with what's his name? The Vanderbilt guy. I'm thinking Tucker Carlson. That's a name that's stuck in my head. The vampire on CNN. Oh, what is his name? I got the word Tucker Carlson in his space. He looks like the handsome vampire. CNN. He does the New Year's Eve drop sometimes. Anderson Cooper. I couldn't get Tucker Carlson out of my head. Not like that. Yeah, but anyway, that was a conversation I had with somebody else. Not super related, but sort of related. Anyway. Thought long and hard about whether to release the following info. We believe as she does, the public deserves to know the truth about it. The age of 12. Unreal. The torture included water. Oh, God. Yeah, mute it for a minute if you need to. The torture included waterboarding and strangulation by rope. Distressingly, she was arred by a dog. Filmed and forced to rewatch the footage as the men placed bets. The coordination of this specific type of abuse was predominantly perpetrated by Pakistani men. During this specific period of abuse, she witnessed the M of at least 3 girls, one of whom was allegedly K'd as a punishment for speaking to the police force. Agencies made a number of referrals to the National Referral Mechanism. She received positive grounds in 2018, but was not made aware of the status until 21. Conclusive grounds in 23. The survivor is understandably wary of reporting the matter to police, so the panel is seeking an urgent meeting with Home Security, including the survivor, to ensure that the government is fully apprised of the seriousness of the evidence to discuss the immediate steps required to ensure the survivor's protection, preserve evidence, and secure justice. Our overriding priority is the safety of survivors and the pursuit of truth and justice without favor. Rupert Lowe, Esther McVeigh, Graham Smith, Sammy Woodhouse. My God. Gary Jackson says this is what happens when you surrender your basic human right to keep and bear arms. Every natural-born citizen over there needs not only a cache of arms and ammo, but sufficient training to effectively defend themselves in the homeland. Wow. Calling for mass hangings. This is just demographic distribution of CSAM and exploitation suspects in Operation Stovewood, source the British Home Office. Pakistani. You flooded your nation with Pakistanis, and 64% of the abusers are Pakistani, 22% British. Yemenis, unknowns, and Slovaks are like 5%. My God, this is brutal. Arthur McWaters says in Lord of the Rings, hobbits in the Shire spent so long sheltered from evil that they didn't even really believe that it exists. The West is like the Shire. My God. Well, here's another one. 43-year-old anti-ICE mommy arrested for stealing an ambulance, loading it with gas cans, driving it to a DHS office in Idaho in an act of domestic terror to K-ICE. Again, a direct result of the continued Nazi rhetoric and demonization of ICE by Democrats. Oh my God.
Police identified the suspect as 43-year-old Sarah Elizabeth George of Boise. Police say they arrested George just before 5 o'clock today outside her home in Boise. Investigators say they spent the last 5 days canvassing, reviewing surveillance footage, and using technological analysis to identify George. As we previously reported, last Wednesday, an ambulance was parked in the ambulance bay outside St. Luke's Hospital in Meridian while a crew transported a patient inside. When Canyon County paramedics returned, their vehicle was gone. Police say George drove the ambulance into the Portico North building near the hospital. Investigators believe George intended to set the building on fire, but ran away when first responders arrived. This incident happened in the same building where the Department of Homeland Security recently leased space.
I want to stress, this type of criminal behavior will not be tolerated in Meridian. This conduct is unacceptable. It will be investigated, and it will be charged to the fullest extent of the law.
Yeah, let's hope you can. Let's hope you do. Again, says Dapper Detective, a direct result of the continued Nazi rhetoric and demonization of ICE by Democrats. Remember that hoax last week? They said ICE killed a teacher, a special needs teacher in Savannah, Georgia. Pure lies. Pure lies. What happened, and the problem was, an illegal alien avoided an arrest, drove away, made an illegal U-turn, and smashed their car into someone, and people were trying to blame ICE for that. Can you believe it? Watch this. This is interesting. Kevin Sorbo says, this is just sad, but here's how couples met from 1930 to 2024. I'm not sure if this is accurate, but take a look at this. 1930. I guess let's mute the music. Friends, family, and school. Neighbors, bar, restaurant. Co-workers, church, college. Neighbors going down in the 60s. Bar, restaurant going up. Co-workers going up. Friends is roughly 26%. Co-workers, bar. Here's online. Watch it at the bottom. 27% from friends, but then online is 5%, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 20% in 2011. Look at this. Online. Everybody meeting up 50%, 60% online. I mean, it's easier to shop on Amazon than to go out to a store, right? Now, this is interesting. I found this pretty interesting here. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with a friend. Fugitive Caesar says, in future history textbooks, the woke era, 2014 to 2024, will be understood as an era of mass hysteria and religious extremism, when everyone pretended to believe a set of delusions under implicit threat of losing their jobs. Anything positive from that area will be tarnished. That era will be tarnished. Jim says, every era looks hysterical to the one that follows it. The more interesting question is, what incentives made those beliefs feel mandatory at the time? It continues on Fugitive Caesar. We should just endlessly repeat this message. We are going to write the history books, and progressives will be remembered as insane cry-bully losers who terrorized ordinary society for a 10-year period of child castration, mass migration, and Me Too criminalization of flirting. Man. You better write the history lessons or else they're going to be lied. You're going to lie about them. Fox News with a report about how banks debanked certain people, but it wasn't all groups of people, just conservatives.
Charlie, the bank made no mention of politics in the court docs, but...
Is that Charlie Gasparino?
You're reporting that there was political pressure from Team Biden.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, and I don't know why they defaulted to that legalistic, nonsense. They should have just said the truth, and the truth is exactly what I reported, by the way, when this thing first broke, and that's last August, that under pressure from the Biden administration banking regulators following January 6th, they were essentially told by the Office of Controller of Currency to debank Trump. And debank him because under the reputational risk clause in the OCC guidelines. And that's it. And by the way, it wasn't just JP Morgan, we should point out. It was Bank of America. And based on my reporting, Bank of America, that's the second largest bank. JP Morgan is the largest bank. And based on my reporting, it was also about 8 other banks that said no to Trump. Now, this reputational risk thing is interesting because it doesn't apply even-handedly. Like, MSNBC wouldn't have a problem getting a loan based on reputational risk, despite the far-left lunacy you see on its channel. It only applied to conservatives. It applied to gun manufacturers. It applied to Trump.
Yeah, that era of political persecution. Maxine Waters' longtime political opponent Omar Navarro sentenced to 4 years in federal prison in a California court, according to Carter Hughes. Biden DOJ indicted him in 2023 for a financial crime comparable to a mistake on your tax return. The 2023 criminal indictment claims Omar misused a total of $36,000 out of the nearly $2 million that was raised throughout his 4 congressional campaigns. In comparison, there are many murderers who receive sentences less than 4 years. Over 4 congressional campaigns against Maxine Waters, Navarro raised $2 million for campaigns. The 23 criminal indictment accuses Navarro of misusing $4,000 for hotels and dinners they say were not a campaign expenditure. $19,000 they say for a lawyer that worked on matters unrelated to his campaign. $800 for non-campaign related flights. $11,000 in cash Navarro deposited to his personal account that should have been deposited to his campaign account. Grand total of misuse, $36,000 out of $2 million, or 1.8%. The complaint also accuses Navarro of paying his mother and a friend to work on his campaign, which is legal so long as payment is reasonable. He paid them an average of $17,000 a year for just under 3 years. DOJ accuses Navarro of receiving some of this money back from his mother and charges 1 felony wire fraud count for each check paid. The complaint provides no evidence to support these kickback claims. Navarro pled guilty to 1 felony count of wire fraud for paying his attorney $19,000 who worked on non-campaign related matters. Central California District Judge Mark Scarsi sentenced Omar to 4 years in federal prison earlier today. Do you think President Trump should pardon or commute Omar's sentence?
Charlie, the bank.
Can he? Federal prison, I guess they're federal charges, so I guess there could be federal pardons. What say you? By the way, dig into Maxine Waters if you want to mess around with $36,000. She's been there for 60 years or however long. All right, Speaker Mike Johnson talking about the State of the Union tonight.
Welcome, everybody. When President Trump said we were going to usher in a new golden era for America, he meant it figuratively and literally. And we do want to thank all of our Olympic athletes who worked so hard and represented us so well in the Olympics. And the gold medal matches were really something to see. And you've heard a lot said about the hockey teams, the men's and women's. Gold, it was incredible. Both of them, you couldn't have scripted it better. Overtime games and the excitement and euphoria that happened afterwards. Millions of people watched those games across the world. And what a great moment it was for America. And it reminded us that we're all on the same team. And we hope that everyone will keep that in mind tonight, because we are. The president called me Sunday night, and he said, Mike, we got to make some changes. We need some more guests. Okay, well, the State of the Union is a very well-attended event, and the gallery is already...
Did you notice that? He started doing his Trump impersonation. Mike, we gotta make a little bit of a couple of changes.
Because we are. The president called me Sunday night, and he said, Mike, we got to make some changes.
Mike, we got to make some changes. Mike, we got to make some changes.
We are. The president called me Sunday night, and he said, Mike, we got to make some changes. We need some more guests. Okay, well, the State of the Union is a very well-attended event, and the gallery is already full, and we have waiting lists of people that want to be there. I said, Mr. President, how many people are you talking about? I think the whole team. Okay, well, so we're going to work out logistics, and somehow, some way, we'll squeeze in the hockey players tonight, and it'll be a great moment for America. And it really is a symbol to all of us that we all play for America's team. And I hope everybody will remember that tonight, even as we stand in the midst of yet another painful and unnecessary Democrat shutdown of the government. I mean,
Yeah. What are they doing, the Dems? Vermont will stop blocking Christians from adopting foster children, according to Life News. The state was blocking adoptions by parents who oppose pushing the trans agenda on their foster children. Families can now provide loving homes for foster kids. If that's, does Grok say this is true?
Welcome, everybody. When President Trump said he was going to,
Let me ask Grok. Just to see if something is obviously debunkable, I will. Yes, the claim is largely true, but with important nuances and framing differences. Settlements finalized, new statewide guidance. Foster parent licensing cannot be denied based on refusal to endorse or affirm specific identities, use or non-use of particular vocabulary, pronouns, or language related to gender identity, sexual orientation, sincerely held personal, cultural, religious, moral, or philosophical beliefs. The state rescinded the revocations for the involved families, reinstating their licenses, meaning religious and Christian families who oppose pushing the trans agenda, social medical transitioning, affirming gender changes, can now qualify as foster parents without compelled speech or ideological agreements as long as they meet other safety care standards. Change focuses on licensure eligibility, but not guaranteed placement. Okay. DCF is still prioritizing LGB, etc. Youth safety, well-being, may avoid placing trans-identifying kids in homes that won't support social transition with pronouns and affirmation. They say it risks harm. I think the harm is letting your kid go confused and get strayed away from what they actually are. Critics from LGB Letters Advocacy, Outright Vermont, argue the settlement prioritizes foster parents' beliefs over vulnerable kids' needs. No, they're vulnerable kids, so you should stop messing with their heads. You're calling them vulnerable as a flex? No, they are vulnerable, so you shouldn't let Munchausen mommies turn them into pageantry for your personal grandstanding. Lawsuits filed in 2024, reflecting broader U.S. debates on religious freedom and anti-discrimination. All right, so that's sort of mostly true. I know. I'm very excited, David, to see the reaction of the hockey player. David, are you a Canadian? Are you a Canadian hockey fan? Or a U.S. hockey fan? You're a Buffalo Bills fan. So does that mean you root for the Canucks or the Bald Eagles? Marion says Maxine looks like she's been in there for a century. Yes, a century, not a decade. I know, it's like the Crypt Keeper on Tales from the Crypt. Tales from the Crypt. David says there's a school board guy that got fined $750,000 by a human rights tribunal in Canada because he only believes there are two genders. There are two sexes. Gender's made up. Not having it. Not engaging in the conversation. Not interested. Tales from the Crypt. That's crazy, David, that they would do that. You got to get out of these crazy places like Canada and whatnot. You just have to. Let's continue. Joe Rogan schooling Bernie Sanders. This is worth the watch.
You got to deal with this climate change issue.
Yeah, sure you do. The climate change issue. Sure you do.
And I know that, there are some people who think climate change is a hoax. It ain't a hoax. I think the last 10 years have been the warmest on record.
I think the climate change issue is very complicated. And I think, did you see the Washington Post piece that they wrote where they did this long-term view. First of all, the reality is that the Earth's temperature has never been static, right? We could both agree on that. It's always been up and down. There's been ice ages and heat waves. And then the Washington Post looked at it. What was the time period that they looked at? That essentially they found that we're in a cooling period. That the Earth over the past X amount of years, and this was like a very inconvenient discovery, but they had to report the data, and kudos to them for doing that. Scientists have captured the Earth's climate change over the last 485 million years. Here's a surprising place we stand now. So look at the far end of that graph, and you see we're in a cooling period.
Well, I'm not sure. I didn't read that article, but
Yeah.
The scientists who are out there, I think.
I know, but there's a lot of money involved in that too, Bernie. That's part of the problem. There's a lot of money involved in this whole climate change emergency issue, and there's a lot of control, and that's a big part of this problem. Not only that, if we're just talking about primarily carbon and carbon footprint, what are we going to do about China? Because China...
Absolutely. It's not an American issue. It is a global issue. And all I can tell you is that we are, in my view, going to see more extreme weather disturbances in the coming years than we have ever. And we're seeing them right now.
Right, but scientists don't agree. Well, this is where it gets confusing. Because scientists that are in agreement... There's all these entanglements whenever someone's discussing something, whether it's economics or whether it's health issues or pharmaceutical drugs, there's financial entanglements. I think we both agree with that, right?
Yep.
And I think this is part of the issue with this whole climate change emergency as well, because whenever there's an issue that everyone can agree on, you're going to have a bunch of people that capitalize on that issue, and they look to gain more money. They have financial issues that they push forward in order to capitalize on this issue, but then also power and control. These things like they're trying to institute in the UK where they have these 15-minute cities, this concept where you're not allowed to travel. They'll be able to look at your carbon footprint. See, that's the problem. The problem is giving people that are in power, these people that we've all discussed that have so much money and so much control over our societies, multinational corporations, giving them more control over citizens. And this is a vehicle for that. And this is what's dangerous about this whole climate change emergency, because it allows these fucking creeps that have been controlling people and controlling what you do and what you say and how you spend your money with people that are already living check to check, and you put additional constraints on them and you make them even more scared. And then you put additional measures where you can look at their carbon footprint, you can look at the amount they travel, put a carbon tax on these people, let's figure out how to extract more money from them. That's what bothers me about this climate change emergency.
And Joe supported Bernie.
You got to deal with this climate.
That's kind of the energy that you need, I think. That's how you handle it. How Joe handled it. Europa says German police have launched an investigation into a pensioner who called Chancellor Friedrich Merz Pinocchio in a Facebook comment. Can you believe this? Man that wrote Pinocchio is coming to HN under a police post announcing a visit by Merz and Baden-Württemberg's Prime Minister Winfried Kretschmann. 3 months later, he's informed that he's being investigated under Article 188 of the German Criminal Code for calling someone Pinocchio. A 2021 law criminalizes insults against politicians. Okay, that's fucking bonkers crazy. If deemed harmful to their public work, carrying penalties of up to 5 years in prison. Okay, that is insanity. We said, hey, Europe, blink twice if you're being held hostage. Nobody would put something like that out unless you're being held hostage. Here's a photo of Matthew Tkachuk with the late Johnny Gaudreau's daughter, Noah. Tkachuk and Gaudreau played 6 seasons together in Calgary. Gaudreau was sadly K'd by a drunk driver while riding bicycles the day before their sister's wedding. And he was a Columbus Blue Jacket. Trending, let's see what Max Crosby, what's happening here. They're calling him an elite pass blocker, pass rusher, and says he'll be on the team. Yeah, the combine is going on, so stay tuned. But it looks like they are not interested in trading him away. Probably a good idea. All right, voters in battleground states largely support election integrity. It's not even close. A Heritage Action poll in 5 battleground states finds overwhelming majority requiring proof of U.S. citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. Mike Lee says both proof of citizenship and ID to vote are wildly popular across the nation, among both Democrats and Republicans, especially in battleground states. Senate has no reason not to deliver the Save America Act to President Trump's desk. Health Ranger wants to reply to RFK Jr., where he's like sort of trying to make excuses for glyphosate. And this response seems kind of fair. It's sort of how I feel. Too big to fail, but too toxic to eat. What RFK Jr. said about glyphosate in a recent post is essentially that America's agriculture system is so toxic and synthetic that the only way to keep it going is to keep poisoning our crops with toxic glyphosate. He's saying that if we stop the systemic poisoning of the crops, the system will break. Therefore, he says, we have to keep the poison flowing while we slowly reform the system to be something better. Take note of this admission that the current U.S. agriculture system is basically a poison factory, and it was a choice, not destiny. America chose this path by regulators, EPA, FDA, USDA, compromising with Monsanto, trusting the rigged corporate science, and censoring voices like mine who have been warning about glyphosate for nearly 25 years. As a result, America is eating poison every day in massive quantities, and the poisoning is so large now that it is too big to fail. Glyphosate, sadly, has become the long-term capital management of agriculture. Too big to fail, too toxic to eat. I like that. I like what he said. I hate that he had to say it. Megyn Kelly wants you to know, just letting you know, you are required to enjoy women's hockey as much as men's and to never make a joke about possibly not. Or you're a sexist pig. Thank you, Megyn Kelly. I heard this on Louder with Crowder yesterday, and it's on the Rise of Alberta site. Canada is now poorer per person than the poorest U.S. state, Alabama. Oh my God. Not a typo. 54,000 versus 61,000 per capita. An independent Alberta would be around 82,000 a person. It's time for Alberta independence. Canada might need to split up into different states. That whole Canada thing is just a mess with the way they've been taken over by the globalists. Jorge Bonilla shows the contempt with which the media treat the parents of those emmed by illegal aliens. Watch this. Unreal.
Oh, I think we're actually getting a little preview of kind of the theme of his address later today at the White House when he hosts the so-called angel moms.
So-called. Yeah, they are angel moms.
And so really focusing on immigration as he kicks off his big State of the Union week.
So-called? Yeah. Parents of those K'd by illegal aliens. You monster. Matt Van Swole says it's been revealed that the man who arred a 14-year-old girl a few miles from his home in western North Carolina is once again an illegal alien invader. Almer Chilel listed as a white male. Yeah. Almer Chilel. White male in the arrest records. Shocking. Students spent weeks protesting in favor of illegal immigrants here. They stormed out of schools with signs. Their teachers cheered them on. They called Trump a fascist and a racist. Yet, less than 5 miles from one of those schools, there is an actual child pedophile being arrested. There will be no protests for the 14-year-old girl that he violated. There will be no protests against illegals that literally are their fellow students. I am so sick of this posturing. We are done with all of it. There are real, truly evil people that are illegal aliens that ICE is going after that make my city safer. Why don't you give a damn about the real victims? Oh, he's got 4 names. Miranda Chilel Almer Gennaro. They called that guy white. Unreal. Because they like fudging the stats on illegal alien crimes. They like pretending that U.S. Americans, therefore, personally, I believe, therefore, such as the Iraq, they don't have maps. Ah. Can you believe it? Let me get back to the question I asked David. I used to play hockey at a higher level when I was younger, but now don't really care the game much anymore. It's totally changed. And you're starting to dislike most things associated with Canada. I mean, come on down. Join us. Flee blue cities, flee blue countries. Marion says about Monsanto and GMO, about the pesticides. Yes, follow the money. And stop cloud seeding, too. Yeah, stop the chemtrails, please. David says, Europe is lost already. Back to hockey. Your favorite hockey team was the Philadelphia Flyers. The Canadians are asleep at the wheel up there. Ugh. Come on, Canada, wake up. According to Zero Hedge, West Virginia introduces a bill to sell machine guns to American citizens. Hold on, what is this? Hold on here. Wait, where's the notifications? Where did this come from?
Cat food and ammo.
Wait a minute, what's happening? John, what are you doing? John with more AI. This is me as an Amish guy.
Hi, Brother Brian Ezekiel Engelman here. I'm on my way to pick up some cat food and ammo.
Okay, how did you get the voice? That's not it's not my voice, it's not my cadence, it's not my tempo exactly, but it's also not far off. Holy shit. This is funny. Yeah, this is why I ask for your Rumble rant tips and your super chats so I can get cat food and ammo. Well, listen, take it from Brother Ezekiel Engelman.
Hi, Brother Brian Ezekiel Engelman here. I'm on my way to pick up some cat food and ammo.
I love it's like Monty Python the Holy Grail with the coconuts. You got to get a couple of those little clickety clacks from the horse at the end. Oh, this is great.
Hi, Brother Brian Ezekiel Engelman here. I'm on my way to pick up some cat food and ammo.
Okay, that's just wow, that is funny. Thank you for that. Oh, what? Now that is funny. Thank you, John. John, a member of our TNAM meme team. What AI program are you using, John? That's pretty funny. Yeah. All right. I do want to share this story. What a wonderful detour that was. I got to share this story while I'm thinking about it. And that's the thing here. If you don't do things while you're thinking about it, they just don't happen. All right, here we go. Zero Hedge reporting. West Virginia introduces a bill to sell machine guns to American citizens. All right now. Greg Price shares this. Ellen Hughes was asked about President Trump's call to the USA hockey team, and her answer showed that pronoun hockey Twitter's meltdown is not real life. She's the mom of the hero that scored the goal.
President of the United States, and he was inviting them to the State of the Union and all that. And then he said a comment that gained attention. He said, "I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You know that?" And the room kind of laughs. And he added, "I do believe I probably would be impeached." He was sort of joking through this. But you're cheering on both teams. How did that comment land for you?
Well, I think at the end of the day, it's just about the country. And the moment that these players, both the men and women, can bring so much unity to a group and to a country. People that cheered on that don't watch hockey. People that have politics on one side or on the other side.
I cheered on I don't watch hockey.
And that's all both the men's team and the women's team care about. If you could see what we see from the inside and the men and women sharing, dorm rooms and halls.
And I guess she played on the 1982 women's hockey team or something.
Walls and flex floors and the camaraderie and the synergy. And
I think. Is she the coach of the other team? I don't know all this story here.
the way the women cheered on the men and the way the men cheered on the women. Yeah. That's what it's all about. And the other things they cannot control. They care about humanity. They care about unity, and they care about the country.
Totally. And don't you love that Ellen's horse from all that stuff?
By the way, that's Carson Daly there. Carson Daly from MTV fame. Cat food and ammo. Although I looked a little pudgy there. Did I? Well, I got to lay off the cat food. No more cat food. Just ammo. Oh, you're making that on Grok. Yeah, I need to. How do you do that on Grok? Is that in the Creator Studio? No, it's not there. I'll have to look into that. That is pretty fun. Back to Texas. Bill Mitchell says breaking Republicans just flipped the script in Texas. GOP outvoted Dems by nearly 9,000 yesterday. First time in this cycle. Over 542,000 Republican primary ballots have been cast in just 6 days. That's already more than half of 2022's total early votes. MAGA is showing up, fired up. This is how we dominate. Keep pouring in those votes, Patriots. Let's make Texas even redder. Yeah, so this is where they called Gavin Newsom allegedly most stylish senior. I don't know if this is high school or college. Kevin Dalton says, yeah, quote, "I was poor and couldn't read," end quote, Gavin Newsom. He's reading and he's full of fancy clothes right there. Adam Carolla shared that. That is pretty good. Nicole Shanahan talking about glyphosate.
So you can't talk about any of these really big issues like inflation or climate without actually addressing the soil. You can't talk about health without addressing the soil. In this country, we use an enormous amount of glyphosate. Glyphosate has been tied for decades now to all kinds of autoimmune issues and cancers. In fact, Bayer and Monsanto, Bayer acquired Monsanto, has paid out over $11 billion in damages due to people getting sick from glyphosate and farmers getting sick, and it's these very well-defined cancers that have been defined and linked conclusively to glyphosate exposure. You cannot address so many of the issues we have in America without addressing the USDA. Tom Vilsack, the current head of the USDA, he was the head of the USDA under Obama as well, it's even hard to call him a commodities guy. He is somebody who is a puppet who's put in there to keep this whole system running as it is. He's made no major changes. To say that he's dedicated anything towards things that liberals care about, such as conservation, is, we've seen no movement there. The Farm Bill, something we don't hear much about that we really ought to be listening and paying much more close attention to in terms of what's going into it. These are 5 and then 10-year bills, budgets. The next one that's up right now is going to be the first 10-year farm bill that exceeds $1 trillion. $1
trillion farm bill? Whew. Back to Texas. Here's a white liberal woman breaking down in tears, admitting that she refused to vote for someone in the Texas U.S. Senate primary.
Yes, we need a fighter. And I was so ready to vote for Jasmine Crockett because I love her. But I voted for Tallarico because we need somebody who can win. Yes, we need.
Yeah, she was choking back tears. Gunther says proof that liberal women are batshit crazy. Tom Steyer is full of crap.
Building is 5'5".
Oh, good grief. Is this real?
Behind buildings like this are trapped billions of dollars of California taxes. I call it the Trump tax loophole. And
oh, you call it the Trump tax loophole? Blah, 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 blah. I pledge to shut down this scam and get back money for Californians. Mark Hemingway says it's beyond dishonest to call a property tax referendum passed by California voters in 1978 the Trump tax loophole. Good grief. Prop 13 enacted after it received 62% of votes from Californians. Any connection between this and President Trump is without fact or basis. Dom Luker shares this. I thought New York was a Christian country. New York really didn't forget about 9/11, did they? He says New York police officers spotted doing what appears to be a Muslim prayer before they eat their food with Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Many voters expressed their concerns of Christianity being replaced in New York. Take a look.
Family to all our city agencies.
Okay. Okay. Ada Lutch commenting on that and other things. The Bible warned us about Islam. Paul the Apostle said Satan would pretend to be an angel of the light to trick people. And guess what happened in the year 610 AD? Muhammad says an angel of light appeared to him in a cave and showed him a new way to God. In Galatians 1:8, Paul said, even if an angel from heaven comes and teaches us a different message from the true gospel, that angel should be cursed. Also in Revelation 20, talks about Christians being beheaded and what religion glorifies the beheading of Christians. You guessed right, Islam. Finally, Jesus said in John 16:2 that a time would come when people who kill you will believe they are doing God a favor. And once again, he was talking about Islam. Islam was created to push people away from the true God, Jesus Christ, says Ada Lutch. Lance Video says Candace has been trying to destroy Charlie Kirk's legacy for 166 days, 4 hours and 30 minutes. She's Satan incarnate, and she hated Charlie when he was alive.
Kirk has been named the new CEO of Turning Point USA.
My husband's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be more.
We did play that before, and it's got too much piano in it.
Picking scandal.
Weird conversations to have. With a 15-year-old. I'm going to touch your butt.
All right. You get it. Ann Coulter says the number one argument against tariffs is that it's a tax. Corporations simply pass the cost on to consumers. But now the corporations want the government to refund the tariffs they paid, which everyone tells me they already passed on to consumers. So It is just talking out of both sides of your mouth with all this stuff. Scott Pressler says, are you aware that your party, the Democrats, attempted to federalize our elections as its first bill of the House in 2019? H.R. 1 for the People Act, 2019. Elon says most people have no idea that democracy would already be dead in America if not for the brave actions of Senators Sinema and Manchin. Aesthetica says, if Republican senators don't want to get rid of the filibuster, there's a very simple test they can employ. Introduce a bill that locks the filibuster in place, mandates the SCOTUS remains with 9 justices, mandates that SCOTUS will remain with 9 justices, and mandates that D.C. and Puerto Rico can't become states. If the Democrats don't vote for the bill, you know that they will do all of the above, and you can get rid of the filibuster under the guarantee that Democrats will do it when they take power. That's an interesting thought there. Rupert Lowe MP, who was talking about those abuse gangs, says, important Restore Britain news. We're well over 90,000 members, on track for 100,000 within 2 weeks of the party's launch. Looking for their help. Elon says Restore Britain is the last and only hope. They say, let's make history. Restore Britain. So the U.S. women's hockey team says we're sincerely grateful for the invitation extended to our gold medal winning U.S. women's hockey team and deeply appreciate the recognition of their extraordinary achievement. Due to the timing and previously scheduled academic and professional commitments following the games, the athletes are unable to participate. They were honored to be included and are grateful for the acknowledgement. Pradeep Shankar says, I think it's really unfair of people to attack these women. 1 gold. Now, at the last minute, Trump graciously invited them to State of the Union. What do you mean last minute? They just won. There's only so many minutes. But getting a huge team to come together at the last second isn't always easy. Oh, come on. That's junk. Guy Benson says, they graciously declined for understandable reasons. Certain people are trying to make us share in their misery by poisoning this double golden moment. Don't let them. We said the official decline was nicely written, but it is a slap in the face to America. Nick Sorter reminds us there was a massive uproar on the left about Kash Patel attending the USA versus Canada hockey game, but radio silence about Democrat Governor Gretchen Whitmer spending tax dollars to fly out to Italy specifically for the game. Democrats are hypocrites. They got a video of Jack Hughes' mother, Ellen Weinberg, from 1981.
She a pretty good player?
Because I don't know, something that I've wanted done.
Think you're going to make it?
Yeah.
So look out, National Hockey League. Ellen Weinberg is on her way. Stan Radford, Channel 5 Action Sports.
Oil London says this shows a transgender comedian here. Is this supposed to be funny? Take a listen.
I think we should start killing kids.
And the room is laughing?
I think we should start killing kids until they let us use whatever bathroom they want. I think
that's supposed to be funny. The Atlantic says, since the start of Donald Trump's second term, Republicans have deployed ever more Nazi imagery, symbol, and rhetoric and espoused ideas associated with the Nazi Party. Radio Free Tom argues he examines how this dark fringe reached the center of the GOP. Sorry, aren't the Democrats the ones running around screeching free, free Palestine from the river to the sea? About wiping Israel off the map and K-ing all the J's? Isn't that the Democrat Party platform now? Richard Gunnell says this crap is going to get someone K'd. Comparing your political opponents to a party that emmed millions of people is despicable and dangerous. You're telling unstable people to take action to stop a genocide? Leaders on the left must stop this before the K'ing. violent attacks and terror get worse. End Wokeness says Tavari Pearson hit his therapist with a rock to the head, strangled her, AR'd her, and then dumped her in a ditch. Prosecutors tried to get him thrown in a cage for 20 years, and Judge Balu gave him 6 months. No context on this story, but that sounds atrocious, if true. Speaking of atrocious, Democrats are dangerous. Vote every Democrat out of office. Here's Democrat Congressman Steve Cohen. These people hate you.
We need people working in the front lines and local law enforcement to protect our citizens from the worst of the worst. The worst of the worst are not the immigrants. The worst of the worst, records show, are native-born Americans.
We need to get immigrants into the front lines of local law enforcement. They want to arm illegal aliens to exterminate you. Okay. Daily Mail says declassified CIA files reveal chilling blueprint to manipulate Americans' minds through covert drugging with vaccines. Crazy. So is this Tavis Smiley here? Gavin Newsom with his ridiculous... Tavis Smiley with Dr. Cornel West. Talking about Gavin Newsom scum.
I'm no better than you. You know, I'm a 960 SAT guy.
I'm no better than you. I got low SAT scores just like you. I can't read just like you. That phrase, I'm no better than you. There's so many ways to unpack that, Doc, but I digress. The mic is yours.
I thought he was going in a humanistic direction. I thought he was going to say, I'm just like you. I was born of a woman. I'm just like you. I'm going to die just like you. I'm just like you. I got to deal with the death of loved ones. But no, he didn't go in that humanistic direction. When he thinks of black people, he thinks of lower SAT. Now, see, we see that in the Trump administration, too.
Yep.
That's what DEI and the vicious attack on DEI was. It's this low SAT. That's one of the core pillars of white supremacy. We are less beautiful, we're less moral, and we're less intelligent. Don't play with us like that.
Yeah, don't play with him like that. Marion Jensen says their Twins Middle School in Prince William County, Virginia school set up dedicated prayer rooms and supervised times for Muslim students during Ramadan. But if you request the same for Christian prayer, suddenly there's a separation of church and state that kicks in. Oh, really? The insufferable Don Lemon about the U.S. hockey team.
And look, I don't understand why anyone would want to be in the...
Yeah, you don't understand a lot, dope.
...vicinity of this president at all. Just being honest. If they called on the phone call, I would say no thanks. Do you want to take the call? No. Tell them to call someone else. I'm not interested in being part of this. I'm not interested in being part of this when he is not a patriot and he doesn't care about this country. He doesn't care about the people of this country. He certainly doesn't. If you look at the citizens who are being rounded up, if you look at what he's doing to the economy, what he's done to healthcare, he doesn't care about this country. So why should I be smiling and kikiing? No.
He doesn't care about this country, you asshole.
Not interested. I'll go party and celebrate somewhere else. I'll wait till I get home to go and party and celebrate with my family. And maybe like a real president. Maybe one day Barack Obama will come to our games. And look.
Mentally ill Don Lemon. Hey, you want to see some good news here? This happened in Texas, but if it were in California, says Kevin Sorbo, the shop owner would be arrested and the perp would get millions in restitution.
Pew pew! Humble, Texas, can we get a come on down, please? All right, so a Hood News Peep is working and a customer just left and some crash dummies are about to attempt to rob the store. Just wait for it. You're going to love this. If you fuck around, you're gonna find out in the great state of Texas. Keep it moving, motherfuckers. Hold on. Did this son of a biscuit eater come in with a crowbar to a gunfight? Psh. Hard-working people have had enough. We're not trying to get robbed every time. These lazy thugs want to go robbing folks. Stay strapped or get clapped, Hood News peeps.
Hood News.
Pew pew!
I want to know what happened to them. Quick draw McGraw. Okay, I need to know at Grok. Were they arrested? I'm curious. But good. I don't like seeing bad guys get away with bad stuff. That's that horrifying our gang inquiry. Check out yesterday's New York City must show ID to shovel snow, but not to vote. USA hockey wins golds. Mexico, Iran, and Mar-a-Lago violence. White House issues this about the State of the Union.
With 2.5 million illegal immigrants leaving the U.S. over the past year, nearly 600,000 arrests, over 600,000 deportations.
That sounds pretty good, I think.
Nearly 2 million voluntary self-deportations.
2 million voluntary out of the 40 million.
And get this, 8 months of zero releases at the border.
8 months of nobody released at the border. They see, and all the numbers were fudging those statistics too, because they were releasing people. They were doing catch and release. It was just everything was the whole system was rigged, manipulated.
President Trump's border policies are serving as a deterrent at the U.S. southern border.
It's amazing. All you had to do was care.
As illegal crossings have hit another record low.
It is an undeniable fact that
there's a lot of music here, but you get the point. I'll keep moving. I would like to watch it, but I need that button to just get rid of the music. Clandestine says Trump decided to up the global tariffs to 15%, which he can do under Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974 for 150 days. Now Trump goes in the State of the Union address with a fresh victory in hand and all the talking points that he needs. Okay. President Trump said, based on a thorough, detailed, and complete review of the ridiculous, poorly written, and extraordinarily anti-American decision on tariffs issued yesterday, after many months of contemplation, by the U.S. Supreme Court, please let this statement serve to represent that I, as President of the United States of America, will be effective immediately, raising the 10% worldwide tariff on countries, many of which have been ripping the U.S. off for decades without retribution until I came along, to the fully allowed and legally tested 15% level. During the next short number of months, the Trump admin will determine the issue and new and legally permissible tariffs, which will continue our extraordinarily successful process of making America great again, greater than ever before. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Here's a reminder. Shout out. Man, it's been years without Rush Limbaugh. It's like that voice is missed. This was him on the way to the State of the Union, where President Trump honored him with the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
How are you feeling?
Thank you. Feel great. Feel good.
And what about the president going to present you with the Medal of Honor tonight? Big honor?
I'm still in awe. Still in awe.
Any message for the president, what he should say tonight in the speech?
I haven't been told what he's going to say, so I don't really know.
What would you like to hear from him?
Whatever he says is going to be fine, I'm sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Andrew Colvett says that the U.S. men's hockey team has accepted an invitation of the State of the Union while the women's team declined it. Sadly, is not surprising. Take a look at this. Based on the 538 polls only forecast, if only dudes voted, Trump would have 350 electoral votes to 188 to Clinton. That's how lopsided that would be. Representative Randy Fine is using President Trump's State of the Union address to respond to criticism over an ex-post in which he wrote that choosing between dogs and Muslims is not a difficult one. Fine's guest for the address will be his father, Alan Fine, and his father's seeing eye dog, Sadie. Point of that is because there's a lot of Muslim complaints that dogs shouldn't be allowed, and threats on dogs and abuse of dogs, and they've got some sort of anti-dog kink. It doesn't matter. You're in civilized society. You deal with other people. You don't dominate and destroy other people. If you can't handle that, go. I'm a cat guy myself, but you choose the dog. It's just, it's the most intolerant political ideology out there. C3 says, remember that time that Democrats refused to stand or clap at the State of the Union for little DJ Daniel heroically fighting cancer? Expect more of that tonight. There they are. Look. They're standing, clapping, having a good moment. All the Dems are sitting down. Senator John Fetterman begs fellow Democrats, please don't act like Democrats. They can't help themselves.
No, I do plan to attend, and I hope that this year they don't put up those silly paddles and all those kinds of weird protests. That's like, you don't have to agree with whatever you're going to hear, but like last year, I mean, it just made us look like children, and just exactly, yeah, thank you. I can see you're referencing that. It's just like, show up or not, but just do that kinds of thing, and like have some dignity, and just we can agree or disagree and not call people names or behave in such ways like that.
We'd all be a lot better off if we acted in that manner.
No, I do.
Yeah. We only need 5 GOP senators to demand a meeting and force a vote and get a new majority. The majority elects a new leader. Sherry Unfiltered says, and if enough GOP senators demand a conference meeting, they can force a vote. Thune is blocking the Save America Act, and the conference has the power to change that. Replace him immediately. Scott Pressler says this is day 55 of asking Leader Thune to pass the Save America Act. Team America wins gold. Byron Donald says it's an all-time game by Hellebuck. The net golden goal in sudden death overtime. They blast Freebird upon winning. Win the first gold medal in 46 years for the U.S. Sweep Canada in Olympic hockey. Proudly sing the anthem. Honor the late Johnny Hockey and celebrate with the boys. This is American greatness. Trump just re-endorsed Byron Donalds. But wait, says Reverend Jordan Wells, Trump is racist, right? Racists don't endorse black candidates. Math ain't mathin'. National Education Association pulls in $390 million a year from union dues from teachers. That money funneled into political donations, 99% of which goes to Democrats. So, hey, teachers, opt out and stop funding backward Democrat policies. TNAM School Indoctrination Network. New York Times wants to tell you that pedophilia is a disorder and not a crime. Elon says New York Times is utterly disgusting. Mike Lee says, no, it's a crime. This is delusional. And we said, yes, a crime, the most disgusting crime, a crime that should lead to public gallows at high noon. So, hey, please get into our X account and vote in our poll. Do peds deserve public hangings in town square? Nicki Minaj says, Gavin Newsom's way of bonding with black people is to tell them how stupid he is and that he can't read. This means my first read on him was correct. He's been handed so many things and put in high positions he's never earned or deserved. You want to know the craziest part of this footage? that will haunt him forever. He's literally slowing his speech down and talking in a sporadic cadence. He's not just telling them that they're all probably stupid and probably can't read. He's literally slowing down his speech to make them understand the words that are coming out of his mouth as if they're children. That means he really believes they're slow. He's not just saying it. He didn't misspeak. He believes. Don't you love it? Do you love it, black people? USA hockey team rolls into 11 nightclub in Miami and led the club in singing the national anthem. Bravo. Fun. So Brandon Straka says you can't script this. Virginia Democrats advance a bill barring anyone under 21 from possessing a firearm unless they're in the company of an adult. State law defines an adult as anyone 18 or older. Unreal. Oh, check this out. Combate says Mexico's defense secretary says 80% of the weapons seized from cartels are of U.S. origin. Kurt Schlichter says we must disarm ourselves because third world savages will murder each other if we don't. This post here shows 39 voters tied to a Fulton County, Georgia virtual mailbox. In a swing state, this is how fraud happens. Pass the Save America Act. 139 people are currently registered to vote here. Gavin claims he can't read, but he also claims this.
You've written a hell of a book, and I don't say that lightly. I went through it in a quick hour and a half, almost 2 hours. And trust me, I don't read very fast, but it reads at an unbelievable pace. It's so well written. And of course, it's so familiar because I felt a little bit adjacent to so much of the subject matter, but it's 18 chapters. It's an impressive piece of work, 263 or so pages.
I can't read. Also, I read the whole thing in an hour. All right, and that's what I wanted to share with you today. Thank you all for being here, people. I need to go get some cat food and ammo. Where's that at? We'll end it on that. Where do I find that again? By the way, no official reports on exact wounds or arrests. The Texas self-defense video appears to have been shot. Yeah, tell me how you got the voice, John, because the voice is getting close. Did you like upload a clip of the show or a show so that they could get, or did you get to like select voices, or that was just the random voice that they gave you? Yeah, we'll end on your moment of zen. I'm going to go get some cat food and ammo. But please hit like, please hit subscribe, share the show with a friend. You can become a monthly member on Patreon, Rumble, or YouTube, as well as drop a Rumble rant tip or a super chat tip. So thank you, everyone. Signing out on behalf of everybody out there in the TNAM universe. I appreciate you. I love you. We'll talk to you again soon, and I am intending to do a live stream this evening. Stay tuned. Hopefully we can watch that together, participate in that together. talk about it in real time. And we'll be back. Oh, it was AI voice at random. It wasn't that far off. All right. I'll talk to you later. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Hi, Brother Brian Ezekiel Engelman here. I'm on my way to pick up some cat food and ammo. Hi, Brother Brian Ezekiel Engelman here. I'm on my way to pick up some cat food and ammo.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.